Gaming news today is touching on Xbox in a variety of ways. We've got Satya Nadella wrote a letter. It really influenced an upload on my channel that is called The Xbox Problem. It was something I had been thinking through and really wanting to kind of put pen to paper and make a video about. And then Satya Nadella's letter really reinforced my thoughts. But Black Ops 6 seems to be doing really well. And I'm going to tie those two things together in sort of a little brief show open for you, as well as the Dragon Age Veilguard review embargo drops today, but the score may end up being padded, as just moments ago before I went live, Fextra Life has released a video addressing some of the concerns and some of the issues about why they didn't receive a review code, as well as some other people who were at a preview event, and remarks largely not really negative from any of the outlets or people that did not get review codes who had been previously heavily involved with the lead up to Dragon Age Veilguard and the press and the preview event, and now not involved. So we're going to be taking a look at all of this today. If you like this kind of content, make sure you hit subscribe and the bell button. This is a variety game news channel where we talk about the gaming news in a live environment. My uploads are a little bit more on the opinion side. So make sure you hit subscribe, the bell button, and consider clicking join. We had a blast on Friday night with the members playing through A Quiet Place with my wife and jump scares, and the mic was on, so we couldn't talk. It was fun. Check that out if you're a member. So let's just kind of dive right in here, all right? Satya Nadella writes this letter, and this letter is largely about the entire, corporation of Microsoft. And he sort of focused on some things that I really think signal the focus for Xbox going forward is going to continue to not be one of having sort of a gamer-centric or gaming platform-centric strategy, more leaning on the idea of, hey, we've got all this software, let's publish it. Again, be sure to check out my video about I call it the Xbox problem, and I link this all the way back to the Xbox 360 into the Xbox One era and what happened there. Now, the reason I'm tying this to Black Ops 6 is because it seems to be doing really, really well, okay? I'm going to give you my brief thoughts on the campaign, and we're going to discuss some of the other things that we're seeing out there from people. And I actually applauded them for being such a huge departure from like a classic Call of Duty campaign. It was more of a spy thriller, more clandestine. It wasn't like some big action film. Now, I stopped after about 2 hours, so it obviously could change quite a bit, and I still am kind of torn because it didn't pull me in the way that MW2's, campaign pulled me in. But I'm hearing it gets really, really good. So I may go back because it had a very unique tone. I will say the good graphics were solid. I really liked the voice acting, the environments, and the gameplay. I thought it all felt very tight. The voice acting started out a little on the low end, and then it got better as time went on. And I just want to continue to say that the departure should be applauded. People are like, well, what would you score it right now? And I said, well, I would probably give it like an 8, even though it really wasn't pulling me in. I had no major grievances. I thought they had done a fairly good job with their effort to make a very different Call of Duty. Now, I will say on the bad side, gun sound wasn't quite as strong as I remember MW2 had. What I felt like was really, really good, gun audio. And then the pacing of the story is one of the main things. It just made it hard for me to get invested. You go back, there's almost like a classic RPG style thing where you're like talking to NPCs and building out your base. So that made it tough for me to get invested, but I welcomed the idea of it's very different. I thought there are going to be people that absolutely love this because it's just so different than a classic Call of Duty campaign. Now, an internet provider in the UK attributed a huge spike in their usage. It was like 144% spike, and they attributed it to Black Ops 6 releasing. And so apparently this thing is kind of kicking off, and to the point that even internet service providers are noticing an increase in their traffic. And we're seeing, positive results from some outlets and some people about it, but it's not all roses for the new game. According to thegamer.com, Black Ops 6 dropped to a mixed Steam review due to bugs. Now, this doesn't seem to be issues with the game itself, but actual problems with the headquarters, the HQ. People are reporting that that's crashing. They're saying this game just needs its own launcher. Others were having issues with the online requirement for the campaign, reporting multiple disconnects. Sadly, most of this seems to be about things that are not a reflection of the game itself, but bugs and things that need to be patched, or just crashing and server-side issues, which is always unfortunate because that'll drive your score down, and then you'll patch those bugs and glitches, and then the game itself gets to kind of hold on to that bad score. So when it comes to the feelings around zombies and multiplayer, I'm seeing mostly positive things. Like, I'm not seeing people complain. I'm not seeing people say they're bad. I've seen some gripes about map design and spawns, but it wouldn't be Call of Duty if that wasn't a complaint. As with all Call of Duty games, though, we'll have to see if the honeymoon phase holds, right? Time always, kind of chisels away at the veneer when people are saying everything is fun and Call of Duty's back. But right now, I'm seeing mostly positive things. I mean, for now, it appears to be a very big launch for Call of Duty with mostly positive reactions. The Metacritic has not hit yet because there's not enough reviews, so I'm not sure when the outlets are going to get around to that. They don't get advanced copies of games like this because of the online requirement. They're not going to send out, 100 to 200 codes and spin up the servers earlier. That's generally not something that they do. Now, the brand loyal fans of Xbox are celebrating this as a win for Xbox, but you should be careful what you wish for, okay? This just reinforces so much of what Xbox has been doing that a lot of the diehard Xbox fans have not been happy about. This really, really communicates to Satya Nadella that, hey, publishing is the way to go. If you read Satya Nadella's letter, if you watch my video about the Xbox problem, and then you see Black Ops 6 have a huge weekend around the time that Satya penned that letter, you just can't not see those two things dovetailing together. This is their future. So while it is good to see Call of Duty, and I was saying that Black Ops 6 was likely going to be a huge release because Black Ops 1 I've always felt was the strongest story in the catalog of Call of Duties, but Black Ops also has this sort of big fan base, people that just love the Black Ops era and they love the Black Ops games. And I thought the game was going to do rather well, especially after how bad MW3 landed, because it was just DLC for MW2 repackaged. So it's good to see it receive praise. It's good to see it do well. But just keep in mind that every time a big multi-plat drops like this and makes a ton of money for Xbox, it just pushes them further and further away from having a gaming-centric or gamer-centric platform identity and more of a publishing identity. Now, when we move on to the Dragon Age Veilguard review embargo, that does drop in about 52 minutes. It drops today, and we are going to do what we always do. We're going to pull up the Metacritic, we're going to pull up the OpenCritic, and we're just going to monitor the results. Now, this may end up being a pretty padded game, okay, as far as score goes, because Fextra Life has been heavily involved in the lead-up to Dragon Age Veilguard's release. They did a bunch of their own coverage. Their preview video, when they went to the preview event, their preview video was like one of the most watched Dragon Age Veilguard preview videos, and then they were suddenly not included. They were just not given a code. Other people were included in the preview event who were suddenly just not included. All of a sudden, they couldn't get responses. They were given assurances they would be given a code, and then suddenly they weren't given a code. Now, people are saying, oh, it's not concerning. Lots of times people don't get codes, okay? In my experience, I've been in this industry for 10 years, and when a company strings you along and won't give you a straight answer, it's because they don't want to tell you that you're not invited. They don't want you to tell you that you're not included. They don't want to tell you that you're not getting a code because they know you're going to make a video. They know you're going to tweet about it, especially when you have a video hit over 250,000 views from a preview event, and then you're suddenly not given a code. That sends a pretty loud signal to that audience and every single person who watched that video that, hey, maybe you were a little too critical and now you've been blacklisted. And the actual criticisms from Fextra Life were so minor that I have concerns this is another game that is going to do everything it can to pad those early review scores. Now, we'll obviously have to watch those review scores over time. I have a standing bet with one of the members of this community that this was going to land in the low 80s. He thinks it's going to land in the high 80s. Well, given their approach to sending out codes, they might land that high 80s and make me lose my bet, but we'll obviously have to check on the score in a week or so, or maybe a 2-week period where these other outlets are given time to review the game and then publish their scores. Now, Noisy Pixel published their score early by mistake. They did give it an 8.5, and their snapshot summary said that the game did hit a few stumbles on the way to release, but that, quote, it ultimately manages to deliver an innovative and fully realized take on the series' world exploration and combat. The role-playing aspect has taken a minor hit in the process, but the game still boasts one of the best casts its studio has ever created, an engaging plot, and answers to many long-held questions, in addition to the best battle system in BioWare history. So that's a lot of high praise, but there are some elements in there that could end up being more critical for different review outlets, like when they say that the role-playing aspect took a minor hit in the process. Well, some outlets and YouTubers may be more critical at that being a change and that being an adjustment. So we'll see where it lands. Stay here if you're in the live environment. Smash the like button. Keep it here for the Dragon Age Veilguard review embargo. It'll be dropping in about 49 minutes. And while you're waiting, you can check out these games for your wish list and your radar. I always like to do this. I like to put games in your wish list and your radar that might not be there, right? Everybody knows about Black Ops 6 and Dragon Age Veilguard, but you might not know about this game. This game is called Sulfur, and it is an action roguelike shooter, and it's hitting early access in Steam today, okay? You can play it today. There is a demo if you want to try before you buy. Now, when the 1.0 of this game releases, their planned release platform is actually the Nintendo Switch, the old gen and current gen Xboxes and PlayStation, so PS4, Xbox One, the Series S and X, and the PS5, along with the Nintendo Switch, along with obviously the Steam release. It looks very straightforward. It looks very fun. I love the simplistic, minimalistic art style as well, combined with sort of the charming font popping up whenever you go over to an item. So if we have time today, and I'm not making an upload, this is definitely one that we would be checking out, because I love these little action roguelites. They're fun, especially when their art style is so charming and unique. Sulfur's definitely got a feel and a vibe. So check it out today in Steam, early access, or just check out the demo. I kind of always wish games like this had co-op, because Gunfire Reborn was so much fun. My wife and I enjoyed it quite a bit. RoboQuest is finally headed to PlayStation in the beginning of next year, so we'll be able to play that together. Currently, I've only ever been able to play RoboQuest co-op with my nephews because they had an Xbox and I had an Xbox. So definitely check that one out. Now, another one that's been on my wish list for a while, and I got the email that it was on sale, so I decided to check out and see how it was doing, is Gestalt, Steam, and Cinder. It's currently on sale on Steam for $9.99. Now, that's down from $19.99, so this thing is half off right now. It's a Metroidvania with, I think, a great art style, and I think the combat looks pretty solid. Overall, though, it doesn't have an immaculate score. It has a strong score. It has an 82% on Steam. That's obviously not, the highest of scores. Typically, I'm promoting games to you guys that are in the 90s, but an 82% is still very good. And this should be headed to Xbox and PlayStation, as well as both old gen and current gen, sometime next year. They are aiming at a multi-platform release, so check this one out. It is on sale. It came out earlier this year. I believe it came out in June or July. And people are telling me to add Redacted to my list. Listen, I showed people Redacted in another video. I don't like to do repeats, right? Unless it comes out and I try it and I want to let you know how it is. But yes, Redacted, it takes place in the Black Iron prison, I think is the name of it. It's the prison from Callisto Protocol. You guys are making me kind of go off the cuff, off the top of my head here, and go off script. But yes, Redacted, I believe you can play it today, early access if you pre-order it. It's a top-down, Hades-inspired rogue, and it takes place in the Black Iron prison from Callisto Protocol. And it looks stinking awesome. Now, if you're trying to find Redacted, you got to use those brackets, not parentheses, but like the hard, squared-off brackets around Redacted, or you might not find it, because there's another game that uses that name. So the third game for your wish list and your radar, Redacted, gets a little honorable mention. They have a launch trailer that's 13 minutes old. Oh, so they have a launch trailer that just hit today. Okay, well, we can check that out once I'm through with my script here. But let's get our last game here for you. For your wish list and your radar is Wizardom. Wizardom is a retro FPS boomer shooter where you're a mage, and it's currently on Steam in early access for $15, and it has a 92% 90%. Now, it honestly made me think of Rise of the Triad meets Classic Doom. If you've ever played Rise of the Triad, you are an OG. Obviously, if you played Classic Doom, you are as well. And it just looks good. I mean, there's something about when you go back in this inspired art style, but you give it that sort of maybe more modern feel and flair with the level of detail and movement and the speed and everything. It just looks really, really charming. So this one here, again, is $15 on Steam, has a 92%. No sign of it coming to consoles. Oh, yeah, and you can make your own levels. So no sign of it coming to consoles, but you guys that love to play on your Steam Decks and on Steam on your PC, Wizardom looks like a great one to check out if you like those boomer shooters. So Xbox is kind of in the news in a variety of ways. Satya Nadella's letter, I think, getting reinforced by Black Ops 6 doing so well. And the Dragon Age Veilguard review embargo drops today, but it doesn't sound like the more critical outlets are going to be in there, because if they went to the preview event and they had any criticism, they seemingly got bumped from the list. So that's the gaming news. And now it's time for the discussion. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you are smashing that like button. Let's set our sights on 200 likes. I'll pull up the redacted trailer for you. They had a launch trailer that just hit today, and I'll go ahead and throw this up for you guys. I think this one looks awesome, and this is another one where it's like, man, oh man, I wish this was co-op. You know, I love these games. My wife and I've been playing through the Happy Tree Friends Rogue twin stick shooter. It's called Crack Pet Show, and it's actually really fun. It gets a little spammy and a little crazy, but this one looks good. Definitely one that I'll be checking out. Callisto Protocol was a game that I wanted to enjoy, and I just couldn't get into it. I tried hard. I really, really tried hard to give it a second go after they had made some fixes, but there were just elements of the game that I did not enjoy and got a little irritated by. But this looks insane and fun and frenetic, and got its own unique art style. And yes, if you guys are in the UK, you went through a time change. We don't go through ours for a couple of weeks, so you're like, why are you early? What's going on? So Redacted is coming out in just like a couple of days. I think you can play it today if you pre-order, though, I believe. October 31st is the official release date, but then it says pre-order to play now. So yeah, so right here at the end, pre-order to play now. But if you wanna wait, it comes out on October the 31st. So I may check that out as well. Let me go to the fan funding page, and Joker Quinn, Han shot first, and so did you, starting off the week strong. Guys, if you missed last week's member stream with Madam, oh my gosh, you guys were jump scaring us with super chats. We couldn't talk because the controller was listening, and we played through A Quiet Place. You're missing out. If you weren't there, you're missing out. We'll do it again this week. I still think it should be the stretch, because we were trying to take back Friday nights, and that's why we moved the Friday night to Friday afternoon. But I decided, hey, I'll give you guys an extra stream if you guys hit the stretch goal. And someone's like, oh, but you should do it. Well, we did it, and it was fun. So I'm glad that JC and some others kind of push us to be like, hey, we hit the goal. Let's do it. So let's see how fast we can hit it this week, and we'll see. Because 2 segments on Friday is a lot, doing a Friday afternoon gaming session with me and a Friday night with Madam. But we had so much fun that we want to do it again. And Jaster with a VIP says, do the thing, boys. Thank you so much, Jaster, for bumping the line as well. Guys, make sure you're celebrating those renewals. Those count toward the goal, but you do have to be on a Member Plus or a VIP in order for those to count towards the goal, because the standard memberships, I can't tell them apart from the gifted. So jump out of that gifted pool. All upgrades count as 2. There's so many games to play on both consoles, so ahead of spinning. Like, there are so many games to play. I actually ordered like 10-foot USB-C cables because I prefer to do that over Bluetooth. So if we ever play games in the living room with the PCs, like that, we've got the cables for them, because there's all these games that keep coming out, and I'm like, that one looks good, that one looks good, especially when, like, you know, I'm looking for co-op games for, you know, my wife and I to play. And a Member Plus comes in from Gaming for Years. Thank you so much for bumping the line. Somebody else celebrated a renewal, but I didn't see it on fan funding. Let me scroll up. Who was it? It was Dwayne with 10 months. Good morning, Reforge and chat. How's everyone? Dwayne Foy Jr., if you want your membership to count towards a goal, use that upgrade command and bump up. It's $1 more. It's $1 more. Wizardom. It's OM, not EM. Wizardom. I believe that's how it's... Hang on, let me make sure I'm correct on that. Oh, it's also not properly spelled as wizard. It's ORDUM. I had it all wrong. It's actually from Apogee Entertainment. When I said it reminded me of Rise of the Triad, that would be why. Isn't Apogee... Aren't they the ones from Rise... Isn't Rise of the Triad them? Rise of the Triad. I'm fairly certain that that was Apogee. No wonder it reminded me of... Is it... Let's see. Yeah. Rise of the Triad, Apogee. Yeah. Yeah. No wonder. No, that's so cool that I picked up on that. I totally didn't even realize that Wizardom is from Apogee Entertainment. I was like, man, this really reminds me of Rise of the Triad. 17 months from Sneaky Wolf. Make sure to listen to Lono's radar and wish list. I wouldn't be 14 hours into Witchfire and loving it if it wasn't for Lono's suggestions. Keep it up, my guy. Yo, that's so kind, Sneaky Wolf. And that bumps the line by 1 to 4. And then a 5 bomb comes in from Purple Haze. The first 5 bomb of the day. The first 5 bomb of the week. Thank you so much, Purple Haze. Good to see you. And that takes us to 9 members already. Last one passed for real. Yeah. You just put Wizardom on your wish list. Looks fun. I enjoy doing that for you guys. I really do. Because we see all these great trailers. We see all these great games. And it's really easy to forget them. Right? You add it to your wish list. You're watching during like a future game show or something. And then all of a sudden, you know, a couple months goes by and you're like, oh, I forgot about that. So every day I try to grab 3 games. I try to grab something that's out, something that's coming. And I also try to grab something that's on every single platform, because there's a couple of times where it was like everything's just on Steam. And, you know, obviously that's fine, but there's a lot of you that, you know, play on PlayStation and Xbox as well. So, yeah, I think the Redacted game looks really cool. According to Zubitech on Twitter, Housemarque's next AAA game will be built on Unreal 5. What did they build? What's Returnal's engine? Is that an in-house engine? Returnal's engine was Unreal 4. I'm just hoping as more and more developers tip over and start using Unreal 5 that they just get better with them, because a lot of the games that have come out in Unreal 4 just run better because it's late gen and they know how to use it, and it's had a lot of its stuff, a lot of the kinks worked out. Now there's obviously the stuttering issue. I don't know if they've ever resolved UE4 or UE5 stuttering issues on PC. But and a Sneaky Wolf 5 bomb comes in and takes us to 14. Thank you so much, Sneaky Wolf. I appreciate you so much. And guys, if you get a gifted member from somebody, make sure and say thank you to them. Sneaky Wolf taking us right up another jump. Destiny Rising Alpha comes out November 1st. You going to play that? You think it'll be good? I have no interest in playing it. No, it's going to be character driven. I think it's going to be a gacha game. I don't think Destiny Rising is going to appeal to Destiny players. I don't think it's going to be a looter shooter. I think it's going to be a gacha game. So, it's too bad they didn't use the Decima engine. I mean, I would prefer more PlayStation Studios switch to Decima, but, I mean, Housemarque did amazing things with Unreal 4. Hopefully they can do amazing things with Unreal 5. And Talico with 29 months says, morning chat and Lone 11, all the content, keep on keeping on. That puts us at 15, tempting a 10-bomb dunker to the first 25. Every 25 members, guys, I owe you 5. So we'll see if anybody takes the bait and slams home a 10. William says, by the time they resolve the stuttering issues in UE5, UE6 will come out, because that will release around the time the PS6 in 2028. That's what it feels like sometimes, William. It's like, hey, we finally got everything resolved in Unreal 4. And they're like, well, here comes Unreal 5. And everybody's all about Unreal 5 because, you know, it's going to save gaming. And all it's done is tank performance in the games that use it. A $5 super chat tip from Mark. Great stream as usual. If you haven't played Batman Arkham Shadow on Quest 3, it's a must. Oh, dude, it looks so good. It looks so good. I need to get on that because I've got space. It's easier to use my Quest 3 than my PSVR 2. It's a little bit easier. So I need to get on that and try that. You know what I'll probably end up doing? I'll probably end up playing that when I'm up in Ohio for Thanksgiving. My brother's basement's got a lot more space, and that's where we end up staying when we're there. It's a really nice, big, huge, open finished basement, entertainment section, and a ping pong table, and, you know, And it's like I could probably find a space down there to check that out. And my nephews would probably want to try it as well. They're all about games, man. They have Switches, Xboxes. They finally got a PS5. I know they've been playing that a lot. They've got PCs. Like, they don't care. If it's gaming, they're there. Like, they want to try it all. So Black Ops 6 is amazing. Yeah, I mean, I covered that in the show up, and it seems to be doing very, very well. Overall reception, I'm seeing nothing but positivity. MW3 obviously got a much different reception, so it's good to see them have a good release after what happened. You mentioned a game a few shows ago. It was a top-down shooter that also changes to over-the-shoulder. Couldn't find the show. That would be Dark Light Survivor, I believe. That is called Dark Light Survivor. Let me check my wish list for you. So Dark Light is a 2D pixel art game that you can play right now, I believe, on all platforms. And yes, Dark Light Survivor. The Dark Light Survivor is actually a pretty interesting twist on the survivor genre. So Dark Light, again, their first game, it's like a 2D side-scroller pixel art game. And this one is a bit of a twist. So you've got like the down over the shoulder that they're showing here. Apparently you can have guns and swords, so you know it's very, very Dark Souls meets like third-person shooter, I guess. But the unique take on this game is that, as survivor games typically do, you like to be kind of above to see the lay of the land. This game allows you to change perspectives. Now, I don't know how much that's going to help, but here's the above perspective, and then here's the down perspective. And I believe somewhere in this trailer they actually show you can do this on the fly. It's not like you're going to play some levels down on the ground and then some levels up above. Yeah, so it's called Dark Light Survivor. And Dark Light, again, is a game available right now. It's not a survivor game. It's like a 2D, I believe it's like 2D Metroidvania pixel art. And it looked really, really good. The animations in Dark Light looked phenomenal. I swear to you, they have somewhere in here, they show the transition from the third person to the top down. It's somewhere in here. I swear to you it is. Maybe I'm forgetting. No, it must be a different, maybe it's a different trailer. But yeah, there you go. You'll be my capture cards hates Steam so much. So yeah, add that one to your wish list. Lona, me and the boys put 20 hours into Black Ops 6 over the weekend. Zombies is godly. I'm hearing nothing but good things about Zombies. Like, Sven was one of the first ones. He said, dude, Zombies is back. He was singing Zombies praises on Friday. And I've never been a big Zombies guy. My friends in World at War loved it, and they could not get enough of it. And I was just never a big fan. It just never did anything for me. There was one that was more wandering, and there was like I want to say aliens that you had to fight, and then you had to like extract. What was that? Which Call of Duty had like the aliens, and you had to get to the extraction at the very end? And I thought that was pretty good, but even then, I don't know. I just get annoyed and bored quickly with Zombies. I've never been able to quite understand why. It's Cold War 2.0. The RPG systems turned it to 11. Really? Really? That was in Ghosts? Extinction from Ghosts? Yeah, I remember we played that for a little bit, and I'm like, here's what always happens to me when I play Extinction in Ghosts or I play Zombies. This is what always happens. The first 2 to 3 runs, I'm having a good time. You know? We're having a good time. And all of a sudden, the repeat and the loop just annoys me. Now that I like rogues, maybe I should give it another go. You know, now that I can get into like a rogue, like a top-down roguelike, you know, like Realm of Ink, or the Survivor games that I like so much, like Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, you know, stuff like that. So maybe I would be more inclined to enjoy it now. The starting over always irritated me. I was like, dude, I don't want to start all the way over. What are we doing? Oseo says, your video made me think it was just a pendulum swinging, and I think Xbox could have righted the ship if they just stuck with hardware, but Microsoft shareholders probably didn't want to wait. Yeah, if you guys didn't see my latest upload on Xbox, we're not going to cover Xbox anymore. I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, the latest upload on Xbox, following a trend of the last couple times we've tried to do an upload about Xbox, it doesn't go well. I don't think confidence in the brand is there anymore. If we cover the PS5 Pro, great results. We covered Bungie, great results. We've covered Helldivers, great results. Anytime we've tried to touch anything with Xbox, we get really bad results now. And I think it's just that the brand confidence is just been really, really damaged. Nobody wants to hear it anymore. Nobody wants to hear about the Xbox evolution or what went wrong, or I've seen a lot of videos about it lately. I've seen some long-standing channels talk about like their history with Xbox and why they love the brand, and why they're so disappointed with how things have turned out. And with the Xbox problem, I basically just argued that, listen, during the Xbox One era, they set their target and their sights on non-gamers. They wanted to get more consumers, and they thought their pathway to getting more consumers was targeting non-gamers with TV. And I realized the other day that they're still doing it. They're still targeting the non-consumer. I'm sorry, not the non-consumer. They are targeting the non-gamer. It's like that's what they're doing. You know what I mean? Try covering EA. I bet you get a similar turnout. No one cares about publishers. Yeah, we would have that happen when we would try to cover Ubisoft in the past, Eugene. It's like once you start to cover a publisher, like nobody gives a frick. They're like, we don't care. Now, you cover a game, like the Assassin's Creed thing, you covered that, you'd probably get pretty decent turnout. But yeah, usually in the past, we would talk about Xbox and we would get insane turnout. Both, it doesn't matter if it was an upload, if it was a short, if it was a live stream. And something I've noticed this entire year, every single time we've tried to run with an Xbox story, whether it was when the Starfield stuff finally started hitting, or when they would make an announcement, or when something big would happen, that big podcast they did at the beginning of the year, ever since the interest has gone down in Xbox as a topic. Like, you can look at the metrics and just see it. I can see it on the back end. I'm like, I just think confidence or care about the brand has hit an all-time low. I saw people putting screenshots in the Discord of just Xbox-centric podcasts and how their viewership has gone down. It's just remarkable how fast that it happens. It's interesting to think about, because all last year you put Xbox on the thumb and you're talking about ABK and you're going to get a big turnout. You could be against it, you could be for it, and you'd get a big turnout. It would be huge. People would come and yell at you that you were wrong or you were right. It didn't matter. Everybody wanted to have the debate about the Activision Blizzard merger with Xbox. And then earlier this year, the rumors about games jumping happened, and then the podcast happened. The podcast, when we covered it, was one of the biggest streams I had ever covered. And ever since that stream, if we try to do anything with Xbox, the results are terrible. And I'm here to tell you that podcast really hurt the morale. And if that would have been something that could have been recovered, I think that Indiana Jones announcement just kind of pushed everything all the way over. It was like, no, who cares? The Xbox problem, they're like, who cares? There are some people still going to war on Twitter, but even then, it's like, you're like, as an example, Black Ops 6. You're celebrating Black Ops 6 doing well, right? My boy Doc Dark was on Twitter saying, Microsoft saved Call of Duty. He's obviously being a goof. Like, he doesn't seriously mean that. But, he's out there going, yeah, dude, Xbox saved Call of Duty. But here's the thing. If you're super loyal to Xbox and you're out here celebrating the success of Black Ops 6, all you got to do is read Satya Nadella's letter to know that Black Ops 6 doing well as a big, giant, multi-plat release is just going to further push them into publishing. It's just all the signs are there. It's like, this is what they're going to do. This is what they care about. So I'm to the point where even I've kind of gotten over it. Like, we put that Xbox problem on the board, And then I've got another one, the Xbox, PS5, it's all coming, Xbox Game Pass backseat. I'm erasing those. I'm just going to erase them from the board. There's no reason to make the videos. There's no reason to say it. Who cares? Nobody cares anymore. It's over. It's like, yeah, that's it. You're right. Derek says, if I was sitting and looking at either Nintendo or PlayStation, maybe not being a thing anymore, a la Sega, I would be one depressed gamer. So jokes aside, the situation sucks and I feel bad for some. Oh, that's why they're not coming and watching the videos. That's exactly right, Derek. Nobody wants to watch that. Nobody wants to watch that. I was getting nothing but diamond achievements on Xbox on Black Ops 6 multiplayer. Nobody was playing it. Wait, nobody's playing it over there? Why would they not be playing it? It's on Game Pass. Black Ops 6 is doing well because it's good. I like I said, when I played through the campaign, I didn't play through the entire thing. I played for a couple of hours. I applauded their departure from the, it's like a cliche Call of Duty campaign. It was like, this is very different. It didn't really hook me. I didn't really get invested in the story, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. I just didn't get invested in the story. I still gave it an 8. I was like, yeah, what I played was an 8. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was just like, yeah, this is good. This is good. This is a good piece of content. It's a good departure. I think they've got good ideas. You know, the idea of having a Call of Duty campaign where you go back to a base and you talk to people and you invest. You know, the one montage where we were like building out the shooting range and building out the kitchen so we could work on guns. It felt very much like A-Team. It was like, bah, bah, bah. Like, I need somebody to like create a montage of Black Ops 6 with like that, bah, 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 bah. You know, if you're in need of help, if there's no one you can turn to, you can call the A-Team. And like, and then just show those guys building out their little spy house. You know, it had a vibe. I just didn't get pulled in by the story, and I wanted to. Now, I kind of want to go back because people are on, Twitter kind of convincing me. They're like, this campaign's amazing, and I'm like, all right, I might go back. We'll give it a couple more missions and see if it doesn't hook me. But this, I've got a video game that I'm going to play for you guys on Wednesday. And so when I had some spare time over the weekend, I was playing that. It's called Vampire Hunters. And I wanted to really dig into the meat of the systems so that when I stream it for you guys, I can kind of explain how the different elements work. Because Vampire Hunters is currently available on Steam and it's coming to console on Wednesday. And they were kind enough to send me a code. So I wanted to do due diligence with that game. I'm never going to be a Call of Duty streamer. So I was like, yeah, I can come back to this later. I love it when a plan comes together. That's right. That's right. Yo, Skeeter with 15 months says, do you think Black Ops 6 will actually be considered a failure to Satya? They were hoping it would be a Game Pass mover, and it doesn't seem like it was. I got news for you. Satya has not been paid or compensated in relation to Game Pass growth since like early 2023. Satya doesn't care about growing Game Pass, brother. Like, that's something that I wanted to include in the video, but I didn't want to muddle the messaging. The messaging was, this is the Xbox problem. The Xbox problem is they basically abandoned their identity to chase the non-gamer. That's the too long didn't read of my video. Go give it some support, right? Go give it a comment. Go give it a like, okay? If you haven't done so, help that video out. Because that's basically my argument. I'm like, they basically abandoned their gamer-centric identity in the 360. They abandoned it for the non-gamer. They went after the non-gamer in the Xbox One era, and they're doing it again. Satya doesn't care about growing Game Pass. He cares about monthly active users. So that's Candy Crush. That's mobile games. That's Call of Duty. But, publishing a very big and successful Call of Duty matters more to him than getting Game Pass subscribers. He's not even compensated in relation to it anymore. So you think he's going to prioritize it? Probably not. Yo, it's good, hardcore magnanimous gentleman. He says, hey, how's it going? We're just like 10 days away from the PS5 Pro launch. I might possibly be holding off buying new games and replaying previous enhanced ones. There's a lot of people doing that. They're holding off and waiting. Gargoon says, Microsoft seems to want big games like Black Ops 6 multiplat, so the PC, PlayStation copies bought help putting it on Game Pass possible. I'm telling you right now, I firmly believe that Satya did not want to put Black Ops 6 on Game Pass. I think Phil Spencer fought for that. Yeah, we're going to be looking at the Dragon Age Veilguard review embargo in just a moment. It drops in 20 minutes. While you're waiting, smash like, gift a member, celebrate your membership, upgrade, do all the things. So, yeah, I don't think Satya cares about growing Game Pass. He didn't even mention it in his letter. Did you hear all the things that he mentioned? He mentioned how much money they were making on their big franchises. He mentioned how they were innovating in cloud so people could play in more places. He doesn't mention hardware. And then he mentions PlayStation and Nintendo. I mean, that's an awful lot of words to not include Game Pass, to not talk about the console. The reason he's not talking about those things is because I don't think he cares about those things. The console's not selling well enough to be a priority. Game Pass cannibalizes their sales, so of course he's not going to talk about that. He's talking about the things that make money because he's publishing a letter to people that's what they want to hear from him. How are you going to make money, Satya? How are you going to earn more? How are you going to generate more? How are you going to do that? Well, you're not doing it with hardware and you're not doing it with Game Pass. I saw a poll that showed very few respondents had any plan to get Game Pass because COD was on it. Most interested already had it. So-called experts say that Black Ops 6 could lose 6 million sales. I mean, that's Michael Pachter, though. I don't know if any other analysts have agreed with his estimates that there would be roughly, what did he say, 3 to 4 million people that would get Game Pass, but then a 5 to 6 that wouldn't. Here's the problem with a lot of those analysts. I was going to do a video about that, but a lot of them don't know what they're talking about. There were some of them saying that people were going to have to upgrade from Xbox Standard to Ultimate in order to get Black Ops 6, but that's not correct if they're on Xbox console. I know the new Standard doesn't include day and date for games like Black Ops 6, but there's a lot of people on Standard Game Pass. It's called Game Pass Console. They get grandfathered in. They get to keep that, and they get to keep day and date. Day and date is no longer on what is called Xbox Standard, and the Xbox Console, which was formerly what a lot of people considered Xbox Standard, it gets grandfathered in as long as you auto-renew. So all their estimates were based off of bad data. They didn't have proper information. They were like, oh, well, these people are going to have to upgrade to Ultimate, so you might not see a lot of people sign up for Game Pass for Call of Duty. And I'm like, your logic's all wrong here because that's not true. A huge portion, like 10 million some odd people, were on Xbox Console, and the new Xbox Standard doesn't include day and date. But as long as those people stay auto-build, they'll be able to play Black Ops 6. So it could hurt sales more. You could see less people signing up. It's just hard to know. Their estimates were based off of bad information. So I started looking at the estimates and started pressing against them, and I'm like, even the financial analysts can't get it right. They're like, I don't know. They're like, which one gets Black Ops 6 day and date? Which one? Well, Ultimate does. But what about Standard? No, Standard doesn't. Well, the old Standard does. It's called Xbox Console. Well, what about PC Game Pass? Oh, no, it does. Like, it's super confusing to know which tier level is going to get day and date Black Ops 6. And beyond that, we don't even know how many are on each tier. I feel like it's a mixed bag. The friends I play with, 2 are on PC Game Pass. 1 on Xbox, he pre-ordered the game, and 1 on PlayStation, he pre-ordered the game. I think the day one diehards buy it. I bet you, Dark Taco, that most of the day one diehards for Call of Duty, they just bought the dadgum thing. They weren't gonna do Game Pass. The concept is let PS5 gamers buy COD like always, let Game Pass subs carry the rest. Here's the problem with that, Albania. Here's the problem with that. They've consistently shown over the years that you'll lose money by putting the game over there. That was Activision's stance. Activision's stance was, we're not doing that. We are not going to put Call of Duty on Game Pass because of what it'll do to sales. So you've got to consider that. That was Bobby Kotick, okay? To me, I honestly think that Satya didn't want it on Game Pass. That's what I think. Let's read some of the comments on the Satya video. Wow, you guys left a lot of comments here. This guy says, on my Xbox problem video, they walked away from it, made them great. At this point, they're just calling it Xbox because Microsoft Gaming seems too corporate. I actually agree with this. I think people were speculating they were going to turn it into Microsoft Gaming, and I'm like, no, I think they'll keep Xbox. Eugene says, I think he's spot on with the sales loss, but not with the Game Pass increase. No one's buying Game Pass for COD. Yeah, I do think that if you are a committed COD fan, you're just going to buy COD. If you're on the fence and you also don't have Game Pass, I don't know. You know what I mean? Don't argue with someone who has Albania in their name. Why? What? Why would you care about that? What do you have against that location? That's weird to say. I gave up on Xbox, this guy says. I don't care if they have an identity anymore, to be honest. Whenever I hear something from Xbox, I just don't care. They became an afterthought. I am seeing this in interest going down for Xbox as a topic. Like, that guy's comment perfectly encapsulates the last couple of times we've tried to cover Xbox. You know? The last couple of times we've tried to cover Xbox, it's just like the interest is down. Everything. It's like, it doesn't look like a normal video for us. Like, in the past, it was like, yep, Xbox is big news, man. They did this, they did that, we did the podcast earlier this year. We cover their showcases, the developer direct. Now, no. I'm telling you, the morale around the brand has just gone down. Some political nonsense. So you think that I should be well versed in geopolitical topics of every location that exists, and when I see a certain name in chat, I shouldn't engage with them based on this presumption of my total exhaustive knowledge of all politics across the globe? Okay, thank you. I appreciate your input to this gaming discussion. If you're on the fence and you're on Xbox, you're definitely more inclined to even take a 1 to 3 month Game Pass deal to check it out. Well, they got rid of a lot of those, right? They had like the trial, the 14 days or whatever. They had the $1 thing. They got rid of all that in the lead up to Black Ops 6. Because I think the Black Ops 6 release to them, it's why they moved day and date to Ultimate. I think they were worried about people signing up for the lowest tier just to play it and then cancel. And they didn't want to. Jareth says, Lono, it's because everything you've predicted about Xbox has come to fruition. Skeeter bumps the line with a gifted. Thank you very much for doing that, Skeeter. And don't forget, Skeeter, if you bump up that membership, man, your renewal counts as well. They are censoring reviewers that have criticism of the game. Yeah, I watched Fextra Life's video on that this morning. It hit before I went live, so I threw it on a ×2 and listened to it. And I was like, oh, man, it's going to be padded, dude. The score is going to be padded. Like, Lone Wolf's going to win his bet, and then a week later, he's going to lose his bet, or 2 weeks later. You know what I mean? 8-Bit Pro left a comment on my video. I really miss the old days of Xbox. I never forgot how big the Halo 2 launch was. LAN party, third-party exclusives. Now, I don't even know what Xbox is. You and many of the Xbox fans feel this way. I think so many people feel this way. The review embargo for Dragon Age Veilguard drops in 11 minutes, and we're going to check it out. I can see a future where the majority of Xbox games are released on PS5 day one. I believe it. I believe it. That was from Alex Gaming. There it is. Keep it about gaming, dude. Keep it about gaming. Butter says, just like when we say ex-employee or ex-girlfriend, this is indeed the Xbox. Did you like that line, Butters? I came up with that. I was like, how do I end this video? You know? I was like, how do I end this video? And then I realized, I was like, wait a minute. In a strange twist of irony, it is the Xbox. It's no longer the priority. It's no longer like the central console for so many fans. It's the Xbox. Like an ex-employee or an ex-girlfriend. It's the Xbox. It's not what it once was. And I just think for a lot of people, that's a bummer. Because they're invested. They have a huge library. You know? Some of these people probably have tattoos. You know? Double entendres, Lono making bars. TJ Rage says, this whole gen has been lame on both sides, but mostly Xbox. Them little indie sprite games don't count either. Those are gravy on top if you are having a good meal. You know what I mean? The little indies are gravy on top if you're having a good meal. But you can't live off that, dude. You know? You can't live off that. The Xbox, indeed. Indeed. And a 10 bomb from Behemoth gets us past our first 25. That's an Agent of Chaos 10 bomb. I owe you guys 5 members. It's the first 5 from me of the week. Thank you so much, Behemoth. Starting off the week strong. Guys, we're going to do it again. We're going to do a Quiet Place jump scare incentive. If you guys hit the goal this week, we will do that this week. You know, I am going to start taking some Fridays off, but oh wait, no, we can't do it this week. Shoot. It'll just be me. My sister-in-law is going to be here. Yeah. My sister-in-law is going to be here, but we'll still do it. So we don't have a stretch goal. We don't have a stretch goal because Madam is not going to be able to stream with me that night. I am sorry. I forgot. She's coming into town for Halloween. We're going to go trick-or-treating with my niece and nephew. So this guy says, I love how Phil Spencer has never come out publicly to address the colossal failure that is Halo Infinite. There's no need to. Why would he come out and say anything about it? Why draw attention to the fact that that game just completely and utterly flopped? Like, it didn't go anywhere. You know, they're having to basically restart all the way. Bring your sister-in-law to the stream. Well, my wife is an identical twin, but you would be able to tell the difference. They've actually, when they were younger, it was really hard to tell the difference. And now, like, their hair's different. Their voices are quite a bit different. They're a lot easier to tell apart now. You know, sister's always getting away with gaming. Hey, I'll be down here having some fun with y'all. That's fine. Madam's impervious to jump scares. Lono's the one that gets scared. That is not an untrue statement. There is like one jump scare in the history of us playing Scary Games Trill. I don't know what game it was. She was down opening a cupboard and like a cat or a raccoon jumped out and she screamed. That's the only time she's ever gotten jump scared. And the reason I remember it is because it's literally like the only time. She doesn't get jump scared. She has ice in her veins, dude. In a zombie apocalypse, I'd be the first one dead. I'd be freaking out, you know? She would just be calm and quiet, you know? Never forget, Xbox, go home. Xbox is completely irrelevant to the gaming scene, yet you need to make a video about it every now and then. If the brand has no value or no future, why do you need to talk about it? The CEO of the biggest company in the world just released a letter about their future, so maybe that's why. Like, Satya Nadella is the CEO of like the biggest company in the world. Like, Microsoft is quite literally, I believe, the most valuable company in the freaking world. And he just released a letter, and in it talked about like the future of what they're going to be doing with Xbox. So, yeah, I think we should talk about it. You know, I also think that it's important to say, you know, hey, this video will likely age well. I think it's going to age well. I think in a year people are going to turn around and be like, yeah, they just pivoted their focus away from having the gamer at their heart and what they're trying to do. Like, publishing games isn't necessarily about the gamer. Like, when Xbox 360 was doing what it was doing with adding trophies, a gamer score, adding Xbox Live, they had digital games, they had the Xbox Arcade. Those were all things that you were like, this is a reason to be on the Xbox platform. Now, if I ask you that question, what's the identity of Xbox? What's the driving thing that they're spending money on, that they're innovating on? What is it? You can't even say what it is because nobody knows. Is it big first-party titles? Is it amazing things that they're doing with their ecosystem on the actual console? Is it Game Pass? Is it cloud? Is it mobile? Is it publishing? Nobody knows. It's just a multi-pronged extension of Microsoft's spending now. We're going to spend money over here and try to make as much money as we can. That's why that Black Ops 6 doing so well, you can celebrate that as an Xbox fan, but it's not going to do anything for your Xbox platform. It isn't. It isn't. Black Ops 6 doing well, selling well, charting, whatever it's doing, that's actually counterproductive if you were hoping for Xbox to really change things or to really pivot back to you and the platform. Black Ops 6 just put the gas pedal to the floor to say, like, let's take one of the recent rumors, right? Why are you so bothered about Black Ops 6? I'm not bothered. I'm saying that it's doing well. That's not bothered. It's doing well. It's getting good response. The community seems to like it. There was an internet provider in the UK that said they had like 144% surge in activity, and they attributed it to Black Ops 6. Like, it's seemingly doing very well. But if you want to celebrate it as like an Xbox loyal fan, all it's going to do is push them further down the road that the Xbox fans don't want them to do, which is just, they're just going to publish day and date. Why hold back at this point? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, Black Ops 6 being a huge success isn't a win for you if you were cheering for Xbox this gen. If you wanted Xbox to do things for you this gen, then this is not a win for you. It's the same thing that a lot of us tried to say when they bought Activision Blizzard. It's like, you think this is a win for you? It's not a win for you. They're going to close studios. No, they're not. They already have. They're going to lay people off. No, they're not. Record layoffs this year. Twice. They've done it twice. They're going to lean into publishing. No, they're not. Yes, they are. Like, all the things that you thought weren't going to happen are now happening. So even as you celebrate Black Ops 6, you're quite literally celebrating them doing the thing that you don't want them to do. Black Ops 6 coming out and being a commercial success, even with being on Game Pass especially, is not a win for Xbox fans. It isn't. Now, it's especially not a win for you if it convinces them internally to stop this day and date Game Pass stuff. They'll turn the frickin' heat up. They'll raise Ultimates to like $30. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a hypothetical, obviously. I'm not like, oh, here comes the pony fear-mongering. No. I mean it. If they internally realize we don't want to keep doing this, especially with titles like Call of Duty, they'll turn the heat up. They'll raise the price of Ultimate, and they'll just start basically making people you'll just drop off a Game Pass and buy games at full price then. Or you'll just switch platforms, and then they don't care because you're still going to have to buy it if you want to play it. Exactly. Reforge, the layoffs, the closures. Microsoft is the Satan of gaming. They literally are ruining gaming one studio at a time. I don't know if I would argue that they're ruining gaming. I think they're antithetical to creative process. Kyle Wilkerson with the VIP bumps the member line to 27. You guys want to be at about 100 a day if you want to hit the goal. And we'll do another Quiet Place jump scare night. We'll do another one on Friday night if you guys hit the goal. I'm exaggerating, but you get what I'm saying. It's all about control. For sure. For sure. And for me, I look at it from this perspective. I have now basically moved away from Xbox. I don't have a reason to turn it on. Like, somebody got really angry at me on Twitter because I bought Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on my PlayStation 5. And they're like, why would you do that? It's on Game Pass. It's a 4K 60 game. You know. Yeah, I realized that. I got 60 FPS on my PS5. And it's the perfect game to own when my PS5 Pro shows up. And then I can try it on that. And I can test out the features that they might add. 88, Dragon Age Veilguard Metacritic. All right, let's pull it open, boys. Yeah, and 88 with 6 reviews, homie. We're going to need a lot more than that. We're going to need a lot more than that. It's got an 80 on PS5, and that's where the most reviews are. You're going to lose that bet. PC only has 6 reviews, 23 on PS5. It's got an 80. You're going to lose that bet, Lone Wolf? We'll see. We'll see if it can turn it around. Oh, you're playing on the 120 hertz mode? I mean, I played in here in my cap card. I don't have my cap card set up for 120. So... And this is with padding. Yeah, I mean, this is with not sending codes to people like Fextra Life that I think they were worried about giving it a low score. VGC, I feel like VGC has been really reliable lately. They're giving it a 60. Goodness gracious. I feel like we've read Inverse before. Let's check this one out. That's a 70. Deserto, 80. We're just going to go by 10. PC Games, they gave it a 90. And Checkpoint Gaming gave it 100. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We'll go from the top to the bottom. So this is a really good one. I don't want to read every single review. All right. So we're just going to give you guys a very, very quick flyover right now. Okay. So Checkpoint Gaming is calling it a masterpiece. Here's their pros and cons. Wonderfully in-depth story where your choices truly make an impact. The cast of companions assembled here are some of the strongest ever. Combat's punchy, satisfying, and tactical with plenty of customization. Presentation is breathtaking from the stunning visuals to the high-quality writing, inclusive and very thoughtful and wonderful ways. Everybody's going to maul at that. Combat can be very unwieldy at first as a negative. All right, here's a summary. All right. Dragon Age Veilguard is a triumphant return to form for one of gaming's most loved developers. It's an epic and grandiose RPG adventure interwoven with intimate, powerful stories about its cast of endearing and quirky companions. It has truly stunning world to explore with hidden secrets, alluring side quests, and a literal treasure trove of lore to comb through. Its tight, in-depth combat systems and its breadth of accessibility options deliver a highly personalized experience. But beyond the adventure itself, it's another shining testament to diversity and exclusivity, polished to near perfection in its presentation. Put simply, Dragon Age Veilguard is Dragon Age at its most captivating, a truly generational adventure, heartfelt and thrilling. Yeah, so it got a perfect score. Some of the things being celebrated there aren't going to be celebrated by others. This is a German site, so we're going to have to skip that one because translation is always kind of funky there. All right, so this is, I believe, this looks like a positive review. I believe this is going to be an 80, though. Dragon Age Veilguard review, 10 years worth of wait. We're just going to scroll all the way to the bottom. Again, I don't think reading all of these is all that helpful. We end up retreading a lot of the same things. So they gave it a 4 out of 5. They gave it a 4 out of 5. Pros: tactical combat, character-driven storytelling, beginner-friendly. Cons: frustrating gear system, exploration priority. All right, let's read their summary here. Dragon Age: The Veilguard is a stellar achievement for BioWare that adds a decade-long dry spell It tells one of the best stories in the series, fueled by some of the most memorable characters. It should be noted the developer famously average facial animations did rear their ugly head at some points, though not enough to count on more than one hand. While the new action combat may feel foreign to some, they have expertly crafted it by the development team to provide satisfying moment-to-moment play. My playthrough was free of any noticeable performance issues or frame rate drops. BioWare has provided an immensely polished experience and made confident statement that it can still provide an exceptional single-player adventure. Okay. All right, so we got 100. I couldn't read the 90 because it was in German. Inverse gave it a 7. Dragon Age Veilguard's strong characters in combat make its flaws easy to overlook. Okay, so it's got flaws. So we're going to go down to the bottom here. 7 out of 10. Is this about it? Oh, this is their review ethos. Every video game review. Okay. For all the ways it frustrated me, I came away from the Veilguard with mostly positive feelings about it. Despite its quirks, combat is fun on a gut level, and building your character from the game's massive skill tree offers multiple interesting playstyles, no matter how you approach it. Though the narrative hands too much power to Rook in big choices and not enough in small ones, it's full of great character moments with a compelling central cast. The series I fell in love with in 2009 with Origins is hardly recognizable anymore, but that's replaced it with a solid blockbuster action game with plenty of reasons to recommend it. 7 out of 10. All right, VGC gave it a pretty bad score, actually. I consider a 6 out of 10 a bad score. Once you drop out of the 7s, I'm not interested in your game generally. Like if I go to Steam and see something with like a 60%, I'm not going to play it usually. Dragon Age Veilguard has strong characters, but gameplay stuck in the past. Feels like it doesn't take enough gameplay risks. All right, and this is been written by Jordan Midler. I feel like we've read some of Jordan's stuff before. Let's scroll down to the bottom. They played it on the PlayStation 5. Excellent cast, great visuals, best-in-class character creation, dull mission design, lifeless world, simple puzzles. It feels like they played it too safe. While it nails what it does best, like the excellent cast and interpersonal relationships from a gameplay perspective, it feels out of date. Within the modern action RPG space, the Veilguard feels fine. It's a game that it never overtly is bad, but it also never really gets fleetingly amazing. We particularly enjoyed its cast, but the majority of things you've asked to do for them is disappointingly repetitive. There are moments of spectacle and longer main missions that show potential, but overall we were left feeling like BioWare hasn't evolved with the times. Looks like VG247 also gave it a 6. So it looks like there's some outlets pulling the score down. I'm seeing lots of 8s in that tweet. Xbox Era gave it a 10. Eurogamer gave it a 10. That's the Game Rant gave it a 10. There are some big scores. There are some high scores out here for this game. All right, let's go back here. Do a little refresh. Go back to Dragon Age Veilguard. Do a little refresh. It's at an 83. PC isn't at an 80. I think this means Lone Wolf is paying. Yeah, I mean, we said we would give it a day. We said that we would give it 1 day to settle. Generally speaking, this early on being this low, you're not going to turn this around. Unless you just get a monsoon of like really, really good scores, really perfect scores. Let's see if we can find Eurogamers even in here. Like, I don't even know if, yeah, here's Eurogamers right here. Let's see what they say. Dragon Age Veilguard review, the best BioWare game I've ever played. How about that? And this has been reviewed by Robert Purchase? A fantasy role-playing game of astonishing spectacle. This is the best Dragon Age and perhaps BioWare we've ever seen. Sven says, mostly return to form and best BioWare RPG in years type of reviews. So basically, if they're giving it a 10 out of 10, that's not a problem if their bias is that, oh, it's the best BioWare or, oh, it's the best Dragon Age. That's helpful to know because if you're a huge Dragon Age fan or a huge BioWare fan, that's probably really encouraging to hear. If you're like me, and you don't have this long-standing love for any of their stuff, I am not compelled by that. I'm more compelled by what the VGC guys said. It feels dated and stuck in time. You know? The best BioWare game? Shut up. Dominic, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just reading. Guys, take a quick second if you're enjoying this Dragon Age Veilguard review rundown. Be sure to hit that like button. Gift some members. Renew your members. Whatever you got to do. Help us continue to hit that goal week to week. And we'll do a big scare Friday night again for you guys. Skill Up's not recommending it. Ooh. I really lately have found Ralph's reviews and opinions to be like lock in step with what I think. I don't know if I've ever disagreed with Ralph in the last couple of years. I disagree with some of his takes on Anthem, but that was only because there were better criticisms to make, you know. I don't feel like I've disagreed with him recently at all. So if he's not recommending, Matty Plays is saying he was disappointed. Here's what Eurogamer says. What BioWare has managed to accomplish here in the face of all pressure it's faced since Dragon Age Inquisition came out 10 years ago is extraordinary. From head to toe, wing to wing, the Veilguard is exquisitely realized, and full of sophistication across systems and storytelling. It's warm and welcoming, funny and hopeful, gentle when it needs to be, and of course, it's epic. Epic in a way I think will set a high bar not only for BioWare in years to come, but for role-playing games in general. This is among the very best of them. Listen, man, I've not played it yet, but based on everything we've read and the spectrum of reviews, I do not think it's setting a high bar for role-playing games in general. Like, you got to reserve that kind of praise for, like, what Baldur's Gate 3 did. Like, come on now. Come on now. You're allowed to enjoy it, but to be like, yeah, it's raising the bar for RPGs in general. Yo, settle down there, brother. It's getting 6s from some outlets. You got to settle down. You've also got to try yourself. Well, yeah, but when the outlets are generally landing in this realm, I don't know if you can say it's raising the bar for RPGs. Yeah, like Baldur's Gate 3 kind of is the bar, isn't it? You know what I mean? I'm not the guy to judge RPGs. I'm here to tell you. I'm not. Folks are calling the game bad before trying it. Nobody's calling it bad, but like I said, Sven, I'm seeing 6s from people who do not seem to have any predisposition to be like a BioWare or a Dragon Age fan, and they're like, it doesn't feel like a modern game, it feels dated. And the people that were like big BioWare fans, big Dragon Age fans, are like, they're over the moon. I think that's helpful information. That means if you're a BioWare guy, if you're a Dragon Age guy, you're probably going to like this game. For the rest of us, probably not. It's not sounding very promising based on what we've read already today. To say that it's raising the bar on RPGs? Like, come on, man. Let's read VG247's, all right? VG247's another low score. Dragon Age Veilguard review, a competent, compelling RPG that's less than the sum of its parts. Mustache hair. All right. Just scroll down the bottom. This is a pretty exhaustive review. Well, now somebody has a picture of Solas with his whole head out. All right, they give it 3 out of 5. Here we go. Like the Dreadwolf, Dragon Age Veilguard is likely to be divisive. Some are inevitably going to view it as a heroic homecoming for BioWare, an example of the studio playing its greatest hits while gingerly treading into new areas. Others will inevitably dislike the choices made. Half of this, part of that, never arguably forming a truly cohesive whole. Me, I fall somewhere in the middle on Solas and the game alike. So I think this completely exemplifies, like, literally what I just said. Like, literally what I just said. Like, people are going to be split on this. If you're a big BioWare fan, if you're a big Dragon Age fan, it sounds like they made an excellent meal for you. For everybody else, right, it's going to feel a bit not like as good. You're like, you know. Dragon Age Veilguard is full of heart and soul. It's also got some great ideas. Conversely, many of those ideas feel like they struggle to get out of first gear, and those that do find it harder still to make it to third. Sometimes the cleverest ideas are undermined by other systems or decisions, simultaneously feeling polished to within an inch of its life in places and utterly half-baked in others. It's as baffling as it is engaging, as frustrating as it is fascinating. Sounds like maybe scope creep bit him a little bit. I expect the divided discourse to be as interesting as and more varied than the game. One thing that I think is inarguable, though, is that it showcases a BioWare on steadier feet than at any point in the last decade. Where the firmer stance has been planted just means one's mileage really is going to vary more than the norm, depending on your predilections and tolerances. Like, this pretty much fully summarizes exactly what I'm talking about. Like, essentially, the way this reads and the way that they're talking about it, this is precisely what I was saying. It sounds like if you're a big-time BioWare fan, if you are a big-time Dragon Age fan, you have a great meal awaiting for you. For the rest of us, it's not. It's probably going to land a little flat for the rest of us because, listen, this is kind of like what I feel like has kind of happened with Bethesda. Like, Bethesda sort of phones it in with Starfield. It's a lot of familiar systems and a lot of familiar things, thinking that like, oh, this is all we have to do to make a great game. And even long-standing Bethesda fans were like, no, this wasn't very good. I was actually cleaning my glasses, and I didn't feel like doing it on camera because I don't like taking my glasses off on camera all that often. You know what I'm saying? It's like I felt like Bethesda kind of did the same thing. It was like, it's still there, by the way. Yeah, there's like a smudge I can't get rid of. It's kind of like the same thing. It's like you've been doing this for so long. You leaning into your vibe, your thing, your tropes, it might appeal to long-standing Dragon Age fans, long-standing BioWare fans. It might not. Right? It might not. So I think that's going to be where this game falls and where this game ultimately is divided, is that there are going to be people that scream up one side and down the other. It's great. It's the greatest BioWare game ever. It's the greatest Dragon Age game ever. And then the rest of us are going to be like, yeah, you know. Yeah, like Skill Up not recommending it to me is a little, I don't know how big of a Dragon Age fan he is, but again, I have been sort of lock in step with a lot of his opinions lately. I feel like when Ralph makes a video and he breaks down the good and the bad of a video game, I'm like, yeah, I think exactly the same way he does. So if he's like, yeah, I don't recommend it, I'm like, ooh, you know. And you got to consider right now it's got an 84, and that's with padding. That's by not giving codes to people who were slightly critical. They were slightly critical in the preview. Like, Fextra Life had one of the most watched previews of Dragon Age Veilguard. And they were continually given assurances they were going to be given a code, and then they didn't get one. And the same thing happened to some other people. They strung them along, made it seem like they were going to get a code, and then they didn't get a code. So this is an 84 with padding. Look how many reviews have even hit. 33? That's it? Like, when Astrobot reviews hit, there were like 80 within the first 20 minutes or something like that. 84 is a perfectly fine score. It's padding, though, Sven. They clearly limited who got codes. 33? That's it? I would not count Fextra Life's views. He's notorious for artificial view inflation. He's famous in the Souls community. Their YouTube videos are not inflated. You can't inflate your viewership on YouTube, homie. The viewer inflation that happens with Fextra Life is on Twitch because of embedding. That's a completely separate subject and not related to the quality of the work that you get from a Fextra Life video. PlayStation games have over 100 reviews instantly. Yeah, where are all the reviews? This is one of the bigger games this year. We have 33 reviews? Where are all the reviews? I'm telling you, this is not what I expected from a game of this size. And I kept saying that I felt like interest was going down. I feel like interest is going down. If you go look at the trailers, if you go look at the videos, interest in Dragon Age Veilguard's going down. And 33 reviews, that I don't think it's outlets that were like, no, we don't want to review it. Interest is going down. But to me, it's like, this was one of the bigger games this year, and 33 people have reviewed it. Gene Park said he's not dropping a review at launch. The window was too short. Okay. We've run into this before, though. Right? Maddie's a BioWare fan, and he was disappointed. Don't think it tracks with its splits like that. 38. Oh, so it's gone up. How many reviews now? 38. Okay, it's going up. All right, well, we'll see. That doesn't seem like a very high number still. 38 on PS5, 12 on PC, 3 on Xbox. The PC score has continued to drop. The PC score is now to 78. The PS5 score went up from 83 to 84. $50 scores, you know. I don't know how to average this, because if I want to average, you would need to average the 50 scores across, because the PC version, I don't think. Let's just check the reviews. Lots to do, huge, inconsistent writing, and muted combat is dull. VG247 was also a PC review. Game Pressure says this wasn't what I was expecting. In this respect, the game must be rated very low. However, as an action RPG with flair and beautiful fairy tale world, it turns out to be decent, and sometimes even more than that. So that's a 60. Low 80s won't cut it for Game of the Year. No, currently with this trajectory, it's not headed for a Game of the Year nomination, no. You can't average them because you don't know what the weighting is. Right, so you can't just take 78 and 84 and add it together and divide it by 2. You can't do that, but still, you know, PC's dropping. Weighted average is roughly like an 82. I mean, we know that the 78 would pull the 84 down. We just don't know how much, right? The average of PC being at 78 would certainly pull the 84 down. Like if you're trying to get an enormous picture of the game, like a broader picture of it, it would pull down that 84 by like I would think by at least a point. It was largely reviewed by Souls fans at launch, and if Extra Life is to be believed, then there is pressure on reviewers to have consensus on scores. So how many of the later reviews are? Yeah, that's based on 50 reviews, yeah. There's positive and negative review bombing. Nobody is review bombing right now. These are outlets that received codes, played the game, and wrote exhaustive reviews. Did you see some of the reviews I scrolled through? Oh, you're saying the 100s are positive review bombs? I mean, we've had this discussion before about how, like, game scores get severely padded when outlets are just like 100, 100, 100. And it's like, that, like, drags the score up higher than it probably should be. And given what we heard about review code distribution, yeah, I don't trust a lot of these scores. I don't think anybody's being dishonest. But when you string an outlet along after bringing them to a preview event, you bring them to the preview event. They have a video, get close to 250,000 views from that preview event, and you string them along like they're going to get a code, and then you don't give them a code. That's suspect, bro. Come on. Why we're going to act like that's not suspicious? Like, come on, bro. Like that's suspicious. If you're not going to give somebody a code, then you just tell them. What's the last game that Eurogamer gave a 10 out of 10? I don't know. I really don't know. A 10 out of 10 from Eurogamer was the one that shocked me the most. Maybe my impression is wrong, but my impression of them is that they're generally not handing out 10 out of 10s. The guy that reviewed it is an associate editor. I don't know if is there a way for me to see all of his reviews. I wish you could click on a person and then just click a button. Just show me his reviews. That's all I want to see from him. He gave Frostpunk 2 a perfect score. So this same guy gave Frostpunk 2 a 5 out of 5. Now, I believe that Frostpunk 2 was highly praised. I'm scrolling through. It doesn't look like he does reviews all that often. Most of his stuff is blogs, opinion pieces, articles. Oh, here's another one. He gave V Rising 4 out of 5 stars. Yeah, Game Rant gave it a 10 out of 10. That one surprised me as well. I feel like Game Rant's traditionally pretty critical. He gave Life Eater 3 out of 5. He gave Inkbound 4 out of 5. And he gave Bulwark 3 out of 5. So it looks like he reviews some of the more lesser known games. And I'm seeing 3 out of 5s, 4 out of 5s, 3 out of 5s. So it looks like he gave Frostpunk a 5 out of 5. And then he gave this game a 5 out of 5. 10 out of 10 is not dishonest per se. But what they said in the review is one of the best RPGs ever. That's really kind of eh. Well, like saying that and then saying it's raising the bar for RPGs, it's just kind of like, all right, we'll see. Quote from the article of this, the Alien VR game. I found my way to a computer terminal, but couldn't read the screen because it was covered in blood, so I wiped it off with my hand. Oh, that's freaking cool. That's freaking cool. Guys, very quickly, try to get us 25 more likes. Very, very quickly. We've been monitoring the Dragon Age Veilguard score here on Metacritic. We got 38 review scores on PS5. Oops, clicked the wrong thing. We got 12 on PC. And landing basically where I kind of said that it would. I said it would land in the low 80s. Eugene says, outside of strong evidence to the contrary, people got to learn to be okay with others rating art, movies, and music differently than they do. There's very little objective stuff to measure in these things. I have always said, and will continue to say, when something stinks, I'm going to say it stinks. It doesn't mean that there's a dead animal in the house, but it smells like it. Right? Something stinks. That's all I'm saying. I'm not coming to strong conclusions here, but something about this stinks. You don't string along content creators with large platforms that come to your preview event, giving them assurances that they'll be given a code, and then you don't give them a code. And then when the reviews drop, they're clearly they're clearly controlling how many codes were sent out. They limited how many codes were sent out, and we're seeing perfect scores. I think that stinks. I think something about that stinks and doesn't smell right. It doesn't pass a smell test. We've been here before. We've been here before. This happened with Starfield. You control who gets it, and there's these outlets that are giving it like insane praise, and then people get their hands on it and they're like, huh? Same thing happened with Cyberpunk. We've been here before. We have no reason to trust any of this. It's not trustworthy. What's trustworthy is when literally everybody who can get a code gets a code, and the embargo drops, and you have hundreds of reviews hit like this. Boom. Wow. Like, Astrobot hit, and within like an hour, we had over 100 reviews, not 50 in the first 30 minutes. We've only got 50. Something's going on here. Starfield had strong evidence. It was Xbox outlets giving it strong scores. I'm not even talking about the 84. I'm not talking about the 84. Forget the 84. Forget where the aggregate score of Dragon Age Veilguard is right now. I don't care about that. Listen to what I'm saying. Has anyone else but Fextra complained? They mentioned 2 other people that had the exact same experience. Luke Stevens had the exact same experience, and there was somebody else. It doesn't pass a smell test to handpick people to not get reviews who came to your preview event, and then when the reviews drop, it's a seemingly low number of reviews, and we're seeing perfect scores. Like, come on. Like I said, there's something about this that stinks. It doesn't pass a smell test. I have no reason to trust it. All the signs are there. Where are the Black Ops 6 reviews? They didn't send out Black Ops 6 early access codes because you needed the internet to play it, and the servers, they can't spin up the servers ahead of time because people break street date. Like when, what was his name? Aiden Ross? Is that the one who did it? He bought a copy of the game for $5,000 from somebody and he couldn't play. He couldn't play because the servers weren't on. So there should be Black Ops 6 reviews by the end of this week. We should have a Metacritic aggregate of what people think of that game. It's going to take a while, right? Because you can't just review Black Ops 6 on the campaign. You got to play the campaign, you got to play zombies, you got to play multiplayer, and you got to give it kind of like a holistic assessment. This isn't our first rodeo. That's what I'm saying. Forget the name of the game and forget the score, okay? It doesn't matter. None of those things matter. What did I miss? Low not accepting the Dragon Age scores? No. No, not surprising. False summary from you. Unsurprising that you first come in and that's the first thing you do is false summarize. 10 seconds in and you're going to false summarize. The shoe fits. Forget the name of the game. Well, X game has preview event. Lots of people come. There are people that are sort of in the middle on the game. There are some people that are slightly critical of the game. Some of those people are suddenly strung along and told they'll get codes, and then they don't get codes. They don't actually know they're not going to get a code until it's too late. The reviews drop. The embargo drops. There is a seemingly small number of reviews hitting. For a game this size, this is a small number of reviews hitting. And we have perfect scores in the mix. I don't care what the game is. I don't care if the developer is your mama. That's suspicious. That's immediately suspicious. We know from internal emails at these companies that the Metacritic score affects sales, and they're scared of it. These executives, these C-suites, these people that answer to shareholders, they know that the Metacritic affects reception, Metacritic affects sales. So look at what they're doing. They're controlling what comes out. We've been here before. How many review roundups have we done? And I go to refresh Metacritic and OpenCritic, boom, and it's immediate. It's just hundreds of, or at least in the 80s, somewhere in 75 to 80 reviews, just instantly, boom. And when that's not happening, red flag should go up. What's going on? What's going on? This is Dragon Age. Where are all the reviews? What's going on? Why are there perfect scores and 6s? You have a spread like that? How many games do we see this happen where you have 6s and 100s? Doesn't pass the smell test, man. Doesn't pass the smell test. If this was an Xbox title, people would be saying the same thing they said during Starfield. If it was a PlayStation title, That's people would have been doing that too. They'd be like, oh, you're trying to limit who can get it. You're trying to limit who can review it. BioWare also always has a low number of reviews. Anthem has 89 on PC alone. 29 on PS4, 25 on Xbox One. That's Anthem. Dragon Age Inquisition. 45 on PC alone, 28 on the Xbox One, 43 on PlayStation. So 116 on Dragon Age Inquisition. I don't know. Shouldn't a company have the ability to limit who they want to have early access to a game? Yeah, they have every right to do that. And I have every right to say that it stinks. And it makes me suspicious. You can do that. I don't care. You can blacklist whoever you want. It's your property. It's your game. You answer to C-suite employees and shareholders. You do whatever the frick you want. You can give your review codes to 10 people, and they're all your best friend. I have every right to walk out and say, well, this stinks. Something here doesn't smell right. When did the codes go out? A week and a half ago? We can have a larger discussion about review code embargo windows needing to be longer. We certainly can have that discussion, right? But when you have outlets like Fextra Life saying, I went to the preview event. I've been covering the game. I was slightly critical after the preview event, and as soon as my preview dropped, all of my communication went quiet. They just stopped communicating with Fextra Life. And they strung them along, making it seem like they were going to get a code, and then they ultimately didn't. That right there is an indication that they tried to control who got codes based on what they would say. So you can say, oh, we don't have enough reviews yet because they didn't give them enough time. Are you adding to my case or not? Sounds like you're adding to my case that, yeah, that they're really constraining this game's review process. I don't trust that view botter. They don't view bot. They embed on their very popular website, and Twitch should just not count embedded views in the dadgum directory ranking. It's on Twitch to fix that. Are you freaking kidding me? No, they're not a view botter. I know what view botters look like. All Fextra Life has done is created a very popular website, and they embed their Twitch channel on it. They embed their Twitch stream on it. It's on Twitch to properly rank their directories. There's absolutely nothing wrong with embedding your stream on your incredibly popular site to potentially drive people to your stream, or count, maybe if they're scrolling on Fextra Life's wikis and they're hitting the Twitch embed and getting ads, that's ad revenue for Fextra Life. I have no problem with them doing that. It's on Twitch to change directory rankings. At least know what the frick you're talking about if you're going to accuse somebody of view botting. That's basically botting, though? You can have that opinion, that's fine, but you said they're view botting. View botting is the act of paying for false views. That's not what they're doing. You build an incredibly successful wiki, and everybody's coming there for your guides, your resources, and all of your information, and you can get a constant stream of just easy ad revenue embed, and you wouldn't do the same frickin' thing? Come on. Yeah, anytime I've watched a Fextra Life video, I felt like it was exhaustive, it was thoughtful, it was well structured. I've always thought their videos and their content and their wikis were helpful. I've never had any issue with them. Embedding is not a crime. There are people who have built their entire channels with view botting and defrauding people and faking gifted members. Like, I don't give a rip about embedding with Fextra Life. Don't you just funnel spiders to your site and then those count as views? I am not going to accuse somebody of malfeasance when I can clearly see their website's very popular. And it stands to reason at a given moment there would be a couple thousand people on any of the pages. Any of the pages on their wikis have the embed. He knows what he's doing, frowned upon, not punishable. But you've got to consider the ad revenue. Consider the ad revenue. Thousands of people in a given hour are on that site. And the embed hits, probably runs a pre-roll ad or two, and then the stream starts to play. Are you kidding me? If you were in that position, you wouldn't do that? You'd be like, how many people are on the site in a given hour and are going to count towards ad revenue for... It's on Twitch to fix their directories. It's not his responsibility to care about Twitch. It isn't. As an organization, Fextra Life is not beholden to Twitch. Well, we better not do this and, you know, make really easy money off the success of our website because Twitch is too stupid to not parse out embedded views. And that's beside the point. The guy made a video and said, this is what happened. This is how I was treated. This should make you suspicious of how the reviews are being handled. And look what happens. The embargo drops for one of the bigger games this year. One of the more well-known franchises of this year releasing. And we got 50 reviews. Other games have dropped and we almost instantly have close to 100 reviews. Come on, man. Come on. If you're going to sit here and say they have every right to limit who gets codes, well, you know, they have every right to embed their streams. Why would Twitch care? All those extra people are watching or hearing their ads. Twitch doesn't have to care about the embed, Dave. What Twitch should do, and this is something they've always been incredibly stupid about, they should have a vested interest in the health of directories. They should smack down view botters. They should smack down people who have obviously inflated view counts because it's bad for the directory. If a directory is healthy, it leads to organic growth of all of your mid to smaller size streamers, which is where you probably make the most of your money anyway. Like, I could literally take them to school on what they do wrong with their directories. They're so dadgum behind as a platform with respect to discoverability, and I talked about this 5 years ago when I was still on the platform. It's their greatest weakness. There is no discoverability, there is no upward mobility on that site because every directory ends up with the same problem. It ends up being this stupid top-heavy, you know, boys club where if you're not one of the boys, you don't get to the top. And then you have people embedding, then you have people view botting because they feel like, well, that's the only way I can get up there. So everybody wants to take shots at Fextra Life. Twitch hasn't handled this properly for the past 5 years, and they probably never will. I don't know why. I don't know what their issue is. I think they're severely understaffed because they're not very profitable, and they laid a bunch of people off. I think they've been severely understaffed for a long time. And so problems like that just don't get addressed. You know. Listen, unban me and bring me back, and I'll help you out, okay? There's all sorts of things that I used to help them with calls and ideas and feedback, and it's like they've completely lost their way, especially on directories. There's a dark corner of the internet that's chomping at the bit to review bomb this game. It makes sense they'd be careful who gets review codes. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I think there's a cultural moment happening right now that probably made code distribution of Dragon Age Veilguard, they were guarded. Sure. But that doesn't pass a smell test. It makes me say you were selective in who got a code. You're seemingly targeting people that you knew were going to be pretty positive, and I'm seeing perfect scores, which drags the score up. It abnormally gives the score an inflation. So an 84, more like an 80, more like an 82, right? And I don't care about my friendly bet with Lone Wolf. I don't care about that. I'm talking about we've been here before. This is not a new scenario for us as gamers. Why do people want to review bomb the game? Oh, Zubair. It has committed the unpardonable sin. It's woke. That's it. Ship has sailed. It's over. Yeah. As soon as people sense that in a game now, you're in trouble. As soon as people sense that in your game now. Oh, you had so-and-so help. You had so-and-so consult on your game. You're going to do this or you're going to do that. Whatever buzzwords, right? If it's got rainbows, pronouns, or whatever in it, that crowd is coming for you. They're going to downvote your trailers. There was a game, Unknown 9 Awakening, that as far as I could tell had nothing in it that you would label as woke. But people found out that the woman from Sweet Baby Inc. helped with it, and every trailer was brigaded against. Severely downvoted. Mean, hateful comments. The game came out and didn't do well, and if you go read the reviews, it has nothing to do with it being woke. It's just a bland and boring game. But the anti-wokies think it's like a victory for them. They're like, yep, go woke, go broke. And it's like, oh my word. So yeah, Dragon Age Veilguard's in the same camp. I've seen several that were critical of the game in previews still get review codes, though. Seems like something else is up. It literally could be as simple as reach, Eugene. Extra Life has a lot of reach, you know? I don't know. Oh, apparently, yeah, one of our favorite bloggers out here says that after launch, Dragon Age is probably going to produce the most annoying discourse of the year with those guys regarding a particular quest line. Oh, yeah. Did Extra Life include Grum's tweets in their video? No. Extra Life wouldn't do that. Extra Life played the end of their preview, Eugene, where they said there were some concerns they had, but they remained largely optimistic about the game. It was a very fair video. Like, they weren't... Have you watched any of their content? Have you watched any of their content? They don't make that kind of content. Unless I'm completely oblivious to an enormous brand shift from them, that is not what they do. A 5 spot from Sneaky Wolf. I'm normally not on the woke train, but Top Scars is too much, not to mention Weird AF. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Sneaky Wolf. They're boring. Yeah, they're not dramatic. They're not bombastic. That's not the kind of content that they make. They're not out here putting Grum's tweets in their videos. Where's their preview video? Yeah, here it is. I played Dragon Age Veilguard for 6 hours. Is it better than Dragon Age Inquisition? It has almost 300,000 views. It has over 250,000 views. There is quite literally no way that this video contains anti-woke tweets. It's going to be funny if they review the game and they give it an 85. Not giving them a code was pointless. Yeah, that's the video they dropped today, Eugene. Their original video did not have that. That tweet talks about, yeah, all that tweet is showing is that Wolfheart did not get included. He's not citing a tweet that's like, oh my gosh, wokey woke. It's no, it's like he's only including that in the video because he's showing here's another person that didn't get a code. Context is key here, Eugene. Their original preview video didn't have any of that crap in it. And that screenshot is only to showcase the fact that Wolfheart didn't get a code. He's not saying, "Oh yeah, here's a narrative and here's an agenda in the game." He doesn't even mention that in the video. I listened to the video this morning. All he's doing, I had it on audio only when that tweet came up because I remember when he talked about Wolfheart not getting a code. Why wouldn't you just show Wolf's tweet then? I don't know. Somebody probably sent that to him and said, "Yeah, you're not the only one that didn't get a code," and then he threw the screenshot in his video. Like I said, I had the video on audio only. I didn't know that he showed a tweet from Grums. You also have to consider that video went live this morning, Eugene. It went live this morning. So he's just saying, "Hey, I didn't get a code. Here's somebody else that didn't get a code." In his original preview, that was not it at all. Don't try and poison the well. Don't do that. You're better than that. Don't try and poison the well here and act like Fextra Life deserved it because of some weird association or some tweet. You're thinking there's something deeper here? Wait, Luke Stevens too? You don't think it was just that they were critical? I don't know. You'd have to go all the way back through their tweets and see if they've had any weird interactions, if they said anything. Their Twitter is literally just them promoting their videos. Now, I could go to their replies and see. Yeah, they're not out here replying to anybody. They don't interact on Twitter in that way. Now, if they happen to follow him, a lot of people follow him that don't agree with him, right? And if they ran some kind of a script so that like anybody following him, you know, got blacklisted, you don't think that's some kind of a problem? You know? Wait, you aren't Luke? No. Luke wasn't critical. He went to the preview and said he liked what he played. I'll tell you what it is. I think it's as simple as just limiting the reach of the review codes. We've seen this before. If a company is worried about the reception of their game, if they're worried about, you know, people bashing it or it not getting great scores, they will limit who gets codes. It doesn't have to be. It's not like, think of it this way. I think when you guys hear me say it stinks and doesn't pass a smell test, you think that I'm like claiming there's some grand conspiracy. No, it's that they're anticipating not the most positive reception, so they're controlling distribution and they're trying to limit distribution. And so whatever it was that determined certain people weren't going to get codes, I still think that doesn't pass a smell test, because what it means is you're not confident in your product. You don't think your product's going to get the greatest reception. And we're seeing a lot of the review outlets are not giving it the best reception. SkillUp's not recommending it. Matty Plays was disappointed in it. These guys are generally pretty, I think, very reliable. I've never felt like either of those guys are like coming back from reviews and like just showering something with false praise. Even in the Redfall situation, Matty was one of the few that came back and said there were issues with the game and that he had concerns. Like they have clearly limited who got codes. Now, if you're going to push back and say, "Oh, the other reason that you're not seeing a lot of scores is because they gave people a small window," you're not helping your cause. So this game limited who got codes, eliminated people from getting codes that were invited to the preview event, and now we're seeing a small amount of codes on embargo time. When you're really confident the embargo lifts pretty early. Embargo lifts early, plenty of outlets have it, you know? How many people are saying, oh, I didn't have enough time? I know Gene Park said that, but what about everybody else? They weren't sending out early copies of Call of Duty, so you can't blame that. Oh, well, Call of Duty just dropped. Everybody was, trying to get their Call of Duty reviews ready. No, there were not early copies of Call of Duty sent out. There's no Metacritic for Black Ops 6 yet. I lost my respect for SkillUp when he did that horrible TLU 2 review. What did he say about TLU 2? Listen, there's a spectrum here that is almost measurable. It's almost measurable. You have games that the embargo drops well ahead of the release of the game, and everybody got a code. We've seen this with PlayStation games. They will send codes to guys that are pro Xbox and on Xbox podcasts. They don't care. Here's a code. Why? We know this game's going to knock your socks off. And then the embargo drops, and it's like... all of the reviews come pouring in. And we're on the other end of the spectrum. We're on the other end of the spectrum. Doesn't this game come out tomorrow? When's this game's release? Oh, no, this game's got a funky release date because of Halloween. It's Thursday. So it is a good window. I'll give it that. A Veilguard release date. Yeah, it's got this funky Halloween release date, the 31st. Releasing on a Thursday is odd, but whatever. So at least the embargo... I would say the embargo is a good window of time. We have a lot of time between now and the 31st for more reviews to come in. Okay, so that's at least in its corner. This isn't like right up against release. It's not like these all dropped on the 31st. Then we'd have cause for concern, like, hey, wait a minute, right? If SkillUp is saying that the game is bad, reality is it's good. Why would you say that? I feel like he's incredibly reliable when it comes to criticism or praise of games. What are games that he has said are bad or didn't recommend that you thought were good? When has he been off the mark on his assessment of games? Can you display a pattern with Ralph that he consistently says, yeah, I don't recommend this game, and then it ends up being a really, really good game? I can't think of the last time that he's done that. Typically when he says he doesn't recommend a game, I'm like, okay. I mean, we could probably just go to his dadgum YouTube channel. You disagree with him on FF16? That's true. I did. I disagree with him on FF16, but I felt like his criticism was very unique to his perspective. Do not recommend. He does not recommend Dragon Age, Biomutant, Atomic Heart, Kill the Justice League, Deathloop, Callisto Protocol. Me. Agree. Sorry, Trill. He doesn't recommend 12 minutes. He does not recommend Gotham Knights. He does not recommend Assassin's Creed Mirage. So, AC Mirage, he does not recommend Flintlock. Well, that was Austin. Okay, so AC Mirage and Sonic Frontiers are two that you might say he missed the mark on. I thought Sonic Frontiers reviewed rather well. Didn't it? I thought Sonic Frontiers did well. Or am I thinking of a different game? I thought we were all kind of like down on No, Sonic Frontiers is in the 60s and 70s on Metacritic from all the outlets. So he's in the pocket there. He's in the pocket there. He's with the general consensus of other review outlets. AC Mirage, yeah, you could probably say he was off on AC Mirage. Right? But that's his own personal opinion. AC Mirage is in the 70s on Metacritic. So I still think something in the 70s could land in a do not recommend. It's not like he's saying he doesn't recommend a game with like an 89 or something. He does not recommend Nightingale. He does not recommend Rainbow Six Extraction, Godfall, Atlas Fallen. These are all games that I agree with. Where are his not recommends that are so amazing? He lost me with The Last of Us 2 and AC Odyssey reviews. Oh, so 2 entire games, one from 4 years ago. I did not enjoy TLU 2 title is deceptive. If he didn't like it. He's allowed to not like something. You have not displayed a pattern of SkillUp being unreliable. We just went through all of his do not recommends. They were all stinkers with the exception of like AC Mirage. You're going to bring up Tlu 2 from 4 years ago and AC Odyssey? That's it? One mistake is enough? It's not a mistake. It's his opinion. How is it a mistake if he didn't enjoy Tlu 2? Yeah, AC Odyssey reviewed very well with the outlets. It was in the mid to high 80s. So yeah, you could say that he was outside of the bell curve. So you have almost no examples of him. That was why I said, does he consistently review things and say, I don't recommend this game, and he's like outside the bell curve, like he's out in left field? We've demonstrated the opposite. We've demonstrated the pattern is when he says he doesn't recommend something, they're bad. They're bad games. So like AC Odyssey and The Last of Us 2, I mean, give a person a little bit of grace to be different than you? Goodness gracious. If you were trying to establish a pattern, okay, AC Odyssey, the title of his review is Bigger Isn't Always Better. But then he also has one where Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so much more than Origins was. He says that it was so much more than he expected it to be in both good and bad. So it looks like he took issue with Odyssey being very big and bloated, and he said the same thing about Valhalla. Bloated, boring, and endless. There were a lot of people that thought that about Odyssey and Valhalla. I think he's in good company. I think he's in good company. You see what I'm saying? I'm not out here like simping for skill up. I'm trying to figure out why you would think, oh yeah, if he says something is bad, it's probably good. We just did a sampling of his do not recommends, and they were almost all crap games. Like bad score, flop, games that people said were not fun or good or not, not worth playing. So he's well within the trend of what people are saying. Like he's not out here like bashing award-winning games. Like, yeah, don't get Ragnarok and don't get Baldur's Gate 3. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, The Last of Us Part 2 4 years ago. He says, I did not enjoy this at all. To be fair, a lot of people were disappointed in that game and they didn't like it. I loved it. I didn't understand how it beat Ghost of Tsushima for Game of the Year. And then I played it and I was like, oh, a VIP renewal from Kano. You guys are going to be behind a little bit on pace. We want to hit about 100 a day. Let's keep it going. Every 25 members, I get 5. Make sure you're celebrating your membership renewals because those count as well. We don't just need gifteds and new, but do some gifting, do some new memberships. If you pick up your own membership, make sure to pick the $6. Not that serious, it's just opinions. I always want to know why somebody does that sort of an assessment of another creator. Because I typically don't appreciate it. It's usually unfounded and stupid. When you push on it, it's unfounded and it's stupid. So to say, oh yeah, if SkillUp doesn't recommend something, it's probably good, and we just went and sampled his most recent, 15 do not recommends, and he's right on the money. They were all games that scored terribly, that were considered not good, some of them just abhorrent flops. So we demonstrate with data the opposite trend. And as I said, a lot of times when people do that, they're just going to be dismissive and do a sweeping generalization of a content creator. When you press on it, it's usually just stupid and uneducated. It's not based on facts or evidence. It's just, yeah, I didn't like his review 4 years ago, so he's wrong all the time now. Okay. Sure, Jan. I don't have any interactions with him, right? I don't. I've never interacted with him. We're not friends or something. I'm out here defending my friend. I'm just, content creators always get those kind of false summaries, and I just find them to be annoying. I'm not saying you always have to agree with him. I'm saying summarizing him as being consistently wrong is not seemingly not very thought out. Looks like the best place to play is Series X. The Series X reviews are in. 5 reviews for Dragon Age Veilguard on the Series X, and it's a 93. It really helps when, I mean, Xbox era, CG Magazine gave it 100. Pure Xbox gave it a 90. The Verge says, the first 40 hours of Veilguard's a slow burn, and I like the change of pace, unlike the other games. Yeah, does Verge, is this a review in progress? Yeah, they don't have like an actual score. I think so. This is like a review in progress. The first 40 hours with Veilguard were a slow burn. You lost your bet according to Xbox. So Eugene, whenever they gave these codes out, whoever played for The Verge was able to clock in 40 hours. I mean, I still want to know how his opinion is wrong. Yeah, I wasn't taking issue with somebody saying his opinion was wrong. I was taking issue with somebody saying if he doesn't recommend it, it's in fact a good game. And so I said, okay, let's look at what he doesn't recommend. And he's very consistently not recommending games that scored horribly, which to me would indicate he doesn't recommend bad games. It's not like he's out here not recommending the award-winning games in the 90s. And he's not finished. Yeah, they say, it took time to build a world around me before shattering it just as I was getting comfortable. Now the game really starts. They said it took getting the second big decision before the game really clicked. So they actually weren't vibing with it until they made their second big decision, it seems like, and then the game kind of clicked for them. Like, yeah, I don't know. First 40 hours. So they're saying it's just starting to click. So how long of a game is this supposed to be? 40 hours? And you're just getting started? Did anybody else indicate how long they played in their reviews? Let's see. Let's see what Pure Xbox, CG Magazine, and Xbox Era say. Let's see if they say how many hours they put in. Over just under 60 hours. So Xbox Era clocked in over 60. And they say, I failed, triumphed, lived, loved, and made incredibly tough choices. Over 60. So they had enough time to play. I'm not going to buy into this. Oh yeah, they didn't get the codes out fast enough. Xbox Era clocked over 60. Skill Up did over 60. Game Rant, after 100 hours and 3 playthroughs. Jiminy Christmas. They had plenty of time, Eugene. Come on. These outlets clocked in an insane amount of hours. Now, everybody's schedules are different, but it sounds like they had ample time to really take chunks out of this game. I don't think you should let a review determine whether or not you should buy the game. CG Magazine is another one of the great scores, 100, and they played more than 50 hours. So it looks like most of the reviews are landing in that hemisphere, somewhere between 40 and 60 hours. Some clearly appear to have had enough time. Right. You know, little suspicious. I have to say it. It's a little suspicious that 2 of the best scores are, and it's you know, it's got Xbox outlets giving it really high scores. I mean, you know, you got 2 PlayStation exclusives in the front running for Game of the Year. I mean, I don't know. You know, I don't know, dude. I don't know. We've been here before. The Xbox boys are suddenly cheering for the non-PlayStation game. That happened with God of War Ragnarok, right? All of a sudden, all these guys that had never played Elden Ring were cheering for it. You know? I mean, we've been here before, have we not? It's like suddenly everybody's cheering for this sports team because everyone, hates the other team or whatever. I don't know. I'm just making observations. I'm just making some observations. I'm kidding around. The Xbox era and the what's the other one? Xbox era and pure Xbox. These reviews are probably trustworthy and fine. I'm just goofing around. These Xbox boys and these Clippers are going to be immediately running to Twitter. Reforge Gaming claims that these outlets are only praising it because they don't want PlayStation to win Game of the Year. The death rattles of the malding haters, dude. Jiminy Chris. No, Xbox Wire wouldn't do a review. Xbox Wire is Xbox's blog. That's where they publish their blogs to announce things and stuff. Is Nova Hands in chat? I have no idea. Okay. There we go. Guys, take a quick second and try to get us to 400 likes. We will we'll stream for another 20 minutes or so. So now is a great time to start submitting questions if you're a member, or gift some members, or become a member, and then your question can pop up on the screen. You just have to type !question, put a space, and then your question. So thank you for the strong turnout today. Gaming news today is a segment that we've been enjoying doing. Make sure you guys check out that upload, the Xbox problem. A lot of you seemingly skipped right over the upload and came to the live show today. And we put a lot of work into those uploads. And that video is about when they kind of walked away from their identity, and they haven't really gone back to it, I don't think. So, all right, this is what happens when you submit a question. It looks just like this. Zach Johnson says, will you give Moon Mystery a shot? Well, I'm going to have to look it up. I don't know what that is. Moon Mystery Game. Let's take a look at it here on Steam. Let's see. FPS adventure game. And it released today. It says here, Moon's haunted. And when an when an astronaut loses contact with Earth, the adventure begins in full. Fill up your oxygen, load up the guns, set out on an interstellar FPS adventure across the stars, filled with puzzles, fights, exploration, and strange secrets. All right, let's check out the trailer here on Steam. Okay. Seems like a mixture of stuff. You bought your views? No, I don't. This looks like a lot of different things. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll wait. For reviews on that one. It could be up my alley. It could not be. Yeah. Yeah, if we're view botting, then over 500 viewers and your chat's barely moving. What? My chat rate is moving very quickly. What are you talking about? Do you understand live streams at all? We currently have had 1,570 chat messages in a 2-hour period. Right? I mean, that's 120 minutes. So 1570 divided by 120 minutes, that's 13 messages a minute. Like, are you stupid, bro? Yeah, worker lurkers, come out and spam the chat too. We have a lot of people that treat this channel like a radio show. We could show this doorknob just how many people are actually here. Look at that. Wow. Isn't that interesting? Look how many people are here and talking and now spamming emotes. Oh, you know what? I think that's an imposter. Are you the real guy? Isn't that a real channel with that name? Or do you have multiple accounts? Yeah, I don't think that's the real Solid Rev. I think that's somebody on an alt or somebody's impersonating. Yeah, because the real Solid Rev, he's the guy that like they went viral for looking like God of War and Kratos and Atreus. I don't think that's really him. I think that's just somebody on an impersonation account trying to cause trouble. Because I went to his channel and that's not the real guy. Yo, Biggie Smalls of 17 months. Lone, I'm not sure if you've seen Windblown. Look straight up your alley. Windblown, you say? Windblown. You would be correct. It's right up my alley. I've already played for over 3 hours. Thank you, Biggie Smalls. I included that in one of my shows the one day. Let me bump the line by 1. That's 29. Let's get one more and see if you guys can't materialize a 20 bomb. Vendetta, been here for 42. Not a bot. Renewing that member plus. Let's get it to 30. Let's see if you can tempt a 20 bomb to 50. Get us halfway to the 100. I'll drop some members. Yeah, where is this tool bag? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hide you on the channel. And then I'm also going to report you for impersonation because you are not Solid Rev. There isn't one here for impersonation. Yeah, we'll just report you for harassment. Yeah. If I could report you for impersonation, I will. If I have to get my partner manager involved. I mean, we don't take kindly to people band evading or impersonating other YouTubers. That's gross behavior. Swoozy with 14 months bumps it to 31 and then 32. Alex gifts one. Takes us to 32 members on the day. Thank you so much. All right, let's pull up another question. You guys can submit questions with the question command as a member. Thank you for gifting and renewing and all the things. Favorite Halloween costume that you and Madam have gone as? We did Ant-Man and the Wasp one year. That was pretty fun. We did The Incredibles one year. That was fun. We've not really done it since. Yeah. Stone Spire gifts a member. Thank you so much. Stone Spire's always doing singles. I think I know what he might do here. Joker Quinn's going to help him out and takes us to 34. We're going to single walk this all the way to 50. If you guys can't get the big boys to descend from the mountains. The Incredibles? Yeah, that one was fun. The Incredibles costume showed up in a member stream. I forget what I was playing. A VR game, I think. Stop it, mama. I think I'm going to keep them because I need a longer one for the bedroom anyway. And those will be the right. Come on. That's not you can't. And a single gifted from XCal. Jiminy Christmas. And a single gifted from Rissick takes us to 36. No, I'm going to keep them because they were really cheap. And having 6-foot USB-Cs will be helpful. And a single comes from Alex. We have a single gifted train. I've always wanted to see if we could get all the way to like 100 just on single gifteds. Because we always do, I think the record was like 40 something single gifteds in a row. Don't Spire, gifts. Another one.
You don't.
No, I'm going to keep them. Because again, they were, and Vendetta gifts 1 to 39. Yeah, they were so cheap. I'll just keep them. Yeah. You were going to go as Kit Kat and Reese's Peanut Butter Cups costumes? Yeah, we've just not done it. The kids do it. They love to go as different characters. My son's got a really cool Fortnite costume that he got. And Atwood, is that an upgrade? Because upgrades counts as 2. Let's see if Atwood just upgraded to Member Plus. Guys, remember, if you use the upgrade command, it's $1 more. It's only $1 to go up to Member Plus. But it helps us out here. Atwood, you've been at that membership for 2 months. You know what? You just rejoined, though. I'm going to count that as 2. I'm counting that as 2. That's going to be 41, and then 42. There we go. 42. 1 comes in from Liquid Smoke. Yeah, upgrades count, guys. I'm going to count that one. I'm going to count that one. So, if we get 4 more people to upgrade to Member Plus, I gift 20 members. Is August Burns Red coming to Kentucky? Ah, no, they're going to Cincy. They always go to Cincy. Oh, no, that's a day to remember, and August Burns Red's a special guest. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go to that anyway. I mean, unless I would like a day to remember. I don't think I've ever listened to them. Yo, how are you, Atwood? Good to see you, man. Question queue is completely wide open, guys. We're going to chill for another 9 minutes. This is a great time to upgrade, gift, and push the member count, as well as the like count. Pressing like is free. Let's get 40 more likes. The member count's rigged. Yeah, with bots. One parent goes chocolate, the other parent goes peanut butter, and the kids the Reese's. Oh, that's funny. The day to remember is great. I mean, I'm assuming if they're touring with ABR, are they similar to ABR? I've seen ABR like 13 times. One of your favorites? All right. I'll add them. I'll add them and check them out. Let's see if I like them. You guys have convinced me. How many albums do they have? A lot. Me? I've been in hell. You? I've been doing great. ABR goes harder. Oh, they do. Yeah, usually lately, I'm usually liking something that's not quite as hard as August Burns Red. You know, not quite as heavy. I've gotten gifted from other streams, just not here. Yeah, I don't get why some of y'all just can't get gifted. I think they're getting ready for individual targeted gifting, and I think just some people have gotten so many that maybe they're putting you on a longer waiting list or something. I'm not sure. The other thing you could try, those of you that consistently can't get them, is toggle off and toggle it back on. Person on Twitter said there is nothing where we should stop getting gifted. It's got to be some kind of an account level glitch. Alexander Smith gifts a member and keeps the single gifted train alive to 43, and it goes to just in time. You might enjoy them. This album in particular, Homesick. That's their best album. Okay, I'll start there. All right, let's pop a question up. We got 7 minutes. 7 minutes, boys. If you could choose the next mythology for Kratos to go to for a game, what are you picking? I honestly, we looked into, what was the one we looked into? Was it Chinese mythology, where there were all these gods you could, I forget what they were, I forget what it was. I think it was Chinese. And it looked freaking awesome. What's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. Gotta be Egypt. I'm not opposed to Egypt. I've tried everything, even unsubscribing to see if it changed anything. No dice. So weird. I'll be honest with you. They could go wherever they want. I don't care. Egypt, because we're getting ready. We're leaving Norse, so Greek, Egypt, Japanese, Chinese. I mean, I honestly just don't care. I'll be good with whatever. It's just I trust them to make an amazing game. It really doesn't matter where you take us. You know? Yeah, Aztec. Aztec could be good. Getting a question here from Alexander Smith. What's the next Green Room playthrough? We're just kind of grabbing more like random games that I've recommended, games that I think are particular, would be particularly good to show you. I was thinking about showing you guys Sulfur today or Redacted, because if you pre-order Redacted, you can play it early today. So, yeah. We don't typically use them to actually play through a game. We're usually like grabbing a game, showcasing it. Hey, if you guys like it, awesome. That's typically how we handle it. And I am gonna try something here with. Oh, that won't work. I wonder, can you switch the time? I wonder if you switch the time earlier. I'm trying not to hit your guys' notifications. It is seemingly impossible. That was a private video. The freaking bot in Discord creeps me out. It's like I schedule a private video and it pings the Discord. And it's like, I really hope that doesn't mean that I'm constantly pinging everybody that's subscribed to the channel anytime we schedule something. Demony Christmas. Because I know they're starting to put members' content more on your homepage. American mythology, Kratos versus Paul Bunyan. Paul Bunyan and Davy Crockett, But Davy Crockett's a mixture, right, of historical and mythological, because I think wasn't he real, but then there's like stories of him like riding a bear and stuff. The reviewers I usually listen to are universally negative on Dragon Age. Yeah, it's faring fine, but it's not. To me, it seems like it's landing the strongest with people who were at some level predisposed to like it. Like they're saying, oh, it's the best BioWare game ever. It's the best Dragon Age game ever. And that's great, because that means if that's you, I think those reviews are helpful to you. But for the rest of us, I'm like, yeah, I'm probably not going to like this game. So... Guys, in 2 minutes, we're going to go to the writer's room. You got 2 minutes to get 7 more members, and then I'll owe you 5. I believe I've set up redirect. I have. Let me pull up another question here. Any tips on choosing a decent router for the PS Portal? What is it that you guys recommended? I've got a mesh system that I want to get. I threw it on the wish list so that I wouldn't forget it. I've got it on the Amazon Reforge Gaming wish list. I think that it is a Wi-Fi 6 is what you're looking for. Here we go. Yeah, I have a Netgear Orbi Wi-Fi 6 mesh system that I'd like to get. I'm kind of waiting though. That and my iPhone I'm like waiting on replacing because I don't need them. This time of year we have like my son's birthday's October, my daughter's birthday's November, my birthday's November as well, and then we travel for Thanksgiving, and then there's Christmas. So I basically completely I like pull off on spending money on myself. Like my grill is falling apart, and we were going to try to get one on sale like end of summer, but then we had that plumbing issue. Like, well, frick, I guess we're going to wait another year on the grill. So I'm kind of waiting. I haven't had any issues with our current router that we use. It's a Wi-Fi 6, but it's only down here. My Orbi mesh system that I have now is not Wi-Fi 6. 6E is superior to 6. I don't know what any of it means. I just remember people saying for the portal you wanted to get Wi-Fi 6 and it would help. There's probably guides out there, blogs and guides and people, that should be able to help you. All right, you guys have 1 minute, and we're getting out of here. Oh. A lot of gifts at the end of the year for you. Yeah, it just gets pricey, so I'm usually just getting stuff for the kids or madam as opposed to myself. It's just, I don't know. I prefer it. I can wait. It's like, I don't need it. You know what I mean? Like the only thing that's going to happen with my iPhone is the cracks are going to get, they might get worse. I'm trying so hard not to drop it. So that's the only thing with my phone. My phone may get to the point where I have to replace it. It's an 11 Pro, I think. Question here for B4110. Do you think Microsoft has any plans to create PSSR tech for their platform? No. If you listened to my video this morning about the Xbox problem, I highlighted Satya Nadella's letter. And in his letter, I think he makes it clear. He signals what they care about, which is making lots of money on their biggest franchises. And if you tie that with their expanding their games to other platforms, I think their biggest franchises are going everywhere. Remember that leak that like Ecstasis claimed they were going to slow down on the porting and that Gears and Halo were red lines? Satya Nadella makes it very clear in his letter, there are no red lines. He mentions Candy Crush and Gears and Halo like all in the same breath. They're all in his mind the same thing. They're a means to money. And he ends the section on gaming talking about how they're going to continue to expand their games to other platforms. So his section on Xbox is about expansion to other places. It's not about innovation within their own technology. The only innovation he mentions is cloud, which is just to play everywhere, which again, I argue in my video, the Xbox problem, the problem with Xbox is they turn their back on being a platform-centric identity. Like, it's about the platform. It's about Xbox Live and achievements and gamer score and exclusives and Xbox Arcade. Those were all things focused on having a great gaming platform. They moved away from that. They haven't gone back. The Xbox One was all about TV, TV, TV. And then this generation, their attempt to undercut on price didn't work with the Series S, and so now they're just pivoting to a non-platform centric strategy. It's not about a platform. It's not about a platform. It's about profit through publishing. That's their entire goal. Whether it's a mobile game or a game like Black Ops 6, Satya made it very clear. And if Black Ops 6 is doing well commercially, it's just going to reinforce their goals. They are not going to slow down. So PSSR tech for their platform, they don't need to do that. They're innovating on other things. They're innovating on cloud. Maybe a handheld. I don't know. All right, we're going to get out of here. If you guys make a mad dash for 7 in the next 30 seconds, so be it. I'll drop another 5, but I'm going to go and get the link for you guys. We are going to go to the writer's room. It's already set up. Yes. Okay. What the frick? Let me refresh. It's ready. It's just I switched it to members off of private because, again, I'm trying to limit the amount of notifications they send you. And I was just making sure that it had actually saved, or I would redirect you to nothing. Okay. All right, you can use the link in chat, or you can ride the redirect. Smash like on your way out, guys. Let's try to get 35 more likes before we end here. Get us to 400 likes. Nice, strong turnout for our Monday morning gaming news this week. If you like this show, keep supporting it with listening, lurking, and liking. Those are really easy ways to do it. And Alex is going to make a mad dash with a 5-bomb. We're getting out of here. I just spammed the link. That takes us to 48. We need 2 more. Hurry up, and I'll drop my 5-bomb. I'm just going to go ahead and load up my 5-bomb. Somebody's going to do it. You guys can't resist. Every time, down to the wire, you try and extend. I'm going to wait. Hang on. I can pull it up here on this browser. Boom. There we go. There's a single from Alex. All right, I'm just going to round it to 50. I know one of you is doing it. And I'm going to send mine, and then we're getting out of here. Kaboom. Boom. Skyfire. Yeah, there it is. Purple Haze and Alex. Alex ended up becoming the Agent of Chaos. And then we're at 52, actually. Xanatos. Yo, love it here. Thank you for the 27-month renewal. Purple Haze and Xanatos. And Biggie Smalls as well takes us to 53. The Mad Dash. Once again. Notorious. You guys are notorious for that. Thank you so much to Purple Haze, to Alex, to Xanatos for renewing for 27 months, and for Biggie Smalls. Continue to support the channel like that. This week's goal is the same as last week's. The jump scares with A Quiet Place with me Friday night. We'll do it Friday night. Friday afternoon, we'll do some green room. I'll give you guys some green room, and we'll do it Friday night because Madam will be hanging out with her sister-in-law, my sister-in-law, her sister. And her sister-in-law. That'd be really rude. She's hanging out with my sister. Play Black Myth Wukong. Not until they fix it. I'm hoping maybe they can fix it on the PS5 Pro because I was enjoying it, but it ran like crap because of how they're using frame gen. So, no. All right, let me start the member stream. Hey, thanks so much for being a member. And you may have gotten gifted today or last week. If you're a member and you missed out on the Friday night stream with Madam where she played A Quiet Place and people were trying to jump scare us with super chats and like the mic and the controllers on, you need to go watch it. It was hilarious. Some of the most fun I've ever had in a stream with you guys and with her, so make sure and check that out. Same incentive this week. If we hit the goal, I'll do a Friday night stream. Same thing. We'll keep playing through A Quiet Place with the mic on and the jump scares. It was so much fun. So I'm going to end the previous stream of gaming news this week. Be sure if you can't come to the members content, go check out my Xbox problem video. All right, go check that out. I'm going to change the thumbnail because we're no longer live.